Hello and welcome back my channel Sleep Beneath History, my friend. Before we begin tonight's gentle journey, if you enjoy slow history stories that help you relax and drift off to sleep, please consider liking this video, leaving a comment, and subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us continue exploring the quiet corners of history together. Now make yourself comfortable. Perhaps you are already resting beneath a warm blanket. Maybe the room around you has grown quiet, and only the soft sounds of the evening remain. Take a slow breath. There is nowhere you need to hurry. Nothing needs your attention for the next little while. Tonight we are traveling far away, not only across great distances, but also across many centuries. Our destination is West Africa, a land where wide rivers quietly cross the earth, where golden grass moves gently with the wind, where traders once walked for months beneath endless blue skies, where cities rose from the dust and became places of learning, music, and peaceful daily life. And at the heart of this remarkable world stood one of history's most famous rulers. His name was Mansa Musa. Many people remember him because they say he was one of the richest people who ever lived. That is certainly an interesting story. But tonight, we will not rush toward tales of treasure. Instead, we will walk slowly. We will discover the world around him. We will meet ordinary people. We will visit quiet villages and busy markets. We will listen to the sounds of camels crossing the desert. We will watch blacksmiths shape iron with patient hands. We will sit beneath the shade of large trees, while storytellers share memories from long ago. As the night grows quieter, we will slowly explore what life may have felt like inside the Mali Empire. Imagine you are standing at sunrise. The air is cool. The earth still holds the freshness of the night. Birds begin calling from distant trees. A gentle breeze carries the smell of wet soil mixed with dry grass. Somewhere nearby, someone is already preparing breakfast. A cooking fire sends a thin line of smoke into the pale morning sky. Children begin waking. Farmers gather simple tools. Women carry smooth clay pots toward the river. Goats wander slowly between small homes built from earth and wood. The day has only just begun. This is not yet the world of enormous palaces. It is the world that came before them. Because every great empire begins with ordinary mornings. Long before the name of Mansa Musa became known across distant lands, families had already lived peacefully beside the great rivers of West Africa for countless generations. These rivers were the true gift of the land. Without them, life would have been much harder. The greatest of these rivers was the mighty Niger. It curved across the landscape like a long blue ribbon. Instead of flowing in a straight line, it turned and bent across the countryside, bringing water to fields, forests, and villages. Where there was water, there was life. Fish filled the rivers. Birds gathered along the banks. Tall grasses grew thick and green. Farmers found rich soil where crops could grow. Travelers found places to rest. Merchants found roads made not from stone, but from water itself. Boats moved quietly along the river, carrying people and goods from one community to another. For many families, the river became part of everyday life. Children learned to swim. Fishermen repaired woven nets beneath the shade of trees. Women washed clothing on smooth stones beside the water. Old men sat quietly watching boats pass, while remembering stories from their youth. The river connected everyone. It carried food. It carried news. It carried hope. As you imagine this peaceful scene, notice how different the rhythm of life feels. There are no loud engines, no busy highways, no glowing screens. Instead, time moves with the seasons. People wake with the sunrise. They rest after sunset. The moon and stars become trusted companions. Rain decides when fields should be planted. The wind tells travelers what tomorrow may bring. Nature quietly guides each day. Centuries before the Mali Empire became powerful, many different kingdoms rose and fell across West Africa. Some grew rich through farming. Others traded valuable goods between distant lands. Every generation learned something from the one before. Knowledge was shared by speaking. Grandparents became living libraries. They remembered family histories stretching back many generations. Storytellers memorized thousands of names, events, and songs. Without books, memory became one of the greatest treasures a person could possess. Imagine sitting beneath a large baobab tree. Its thick trunk has watched hundreds of rainy seasons come and go. Children gather nearby. Older villagers sit comfortably on woven mats. The evening air is cool now. The day's work is finished. A storyteller clears his throat. Nobody interrupts. Everyone listens. His voice is slow, gentle, steady. He begins speaking about ancestors who lived many generations ago. He tells stories of wise hunters, kind rulers, long journeys across golden plains. He speaks of courage, patience, friendship, and respect. The children listen carefully. One day, they too will remember these stories. One day, they will pass them to their own children. This is how history stays alive. Not on paper, but inside people. The land itself offered many different ways of living. Some families farmed rich fields beside rivers. Others cared for large herds of cattle. Some became skilled hunters who understood every trail through forests and grasslands. Others traveled from village to village, making beautiful pottery or strong iron tools. Each person had an important role. No work was too small. A farmer growing millet helped feed entire communities. A potter shaped bowls used every day. A fisherman supplied fresh meals. A weaver created cloth that protected families from the sun. A blacksmith repaired broken tools that allowed everyone else to continue working. Life depended upon cooperation. The success of one family often helped another. Villages slowly became places where many different skills came together. You might hear the steady tapping of a hammer, the laughter of children playing simple games, the soft sound of grain being ground between smooth stones, the gentle singing of women working together, the distant lowing of cattle, the rustling of tall grass moving in the wind. These sounds formed the music of everyday life. Nothing hurried, nothing wasted. Everything followed a familiar rhythm. Food reflected the land itself. Millet grew well. So did sorghum. Rice was cultivated in certain regions where water was plentiful. Beans added strength to simple meals. Fresh vegetables appeared during the growing seasons. Fish came from the rivers. Meat was usually saved for special occasions or celebrations. Meals were shared. Families often gathered together before eating. Conversation flowed quietly. Children learned manners by watching their elders. Respect was shown not only through words but through actions. Offering food to a guest was considered a kindness. Sharing what little someone had strengthened friendships. Hospitality became one of the great traditions across West Africa. Imagine arriving after a long journey. Dust covers your clothing. The sun has made the day warm. Someone welcomes you with a smile. Water is offered first. Then food. Perhaps a place to rest beneath a shaded roof. Questions about your travels can wait. Your comfort comes first. This simple act of generosity became one of the quiet strengths of these communities. Travelers remembered such kindness. Stories of welcoming villages spread from one road to another. As evening slowly settles across the land, cooking fires begin glowing once more. Orange light dances across mud walls. Smoke rises gently into the darkening sky. Children yawn after long days of play. Parents speak softly together. The stars begin appearing one by one above the wide African sky. Few places on Earth reveal the stars as clearly as these open plains. Without bright city lights, the heavens stretch endlessly overhead. People look upward. They recognize familiar patterns among the stars. The sky becomes another storyteller, another guide, another quiet companion through the night. Somewhere in the distance, a traveler continues walking beneath those same stars. His journey may last weeks, perhaps even months. He carries salt, or cloth, or stories gathered from villages far away. Without knowing it, he is helping create something larger than himself. Road by road, village by village, generation after generation. These peaceful connections will eventually grow into one of Africa's greatest empires. But that story is only beginning. For now, let us remain in these quiet early years, where the rivers flow gently, the villages rest peacefully beneath the stars, and the foundations of the future Mali Empire are slowly, patiently being laid. And as the night grows even quieter, our journey will continue into the lives of the first great rulers who helped shape this remarkable land. The first light of morning slowly returns. A cool mist hangs over the river. The water moves so gently that it almost seems asleep. Birds begin their songs before the sun fully rises, as if they know the day is coming long before anyone else. Imagine standing beside that quiet river once again. The air smells fresh. Tiny drops of dew rest on blades of grass. A fisherman unties his wooden boat from a tree root along the bank. He moves slowly, careful not to disturb the peaceful morning. Nearby, another family is already preparing for the day. One person sweeps the ground around the home with a bundle of dried branches. Another places clay pots near the fire. Children rub sleep from their eyes while watching the smoke rise into the pale sky. The village wakes little by little. No loud bells announce the beginning of work. No clocks tell anyone the exact hour. The people simply know. The rhythm of nature has become their clock. As the sun climbs higher, warm golden light spreads across the land. The fields shine softly. Farmers begin walking toward their crops. Some carry simple iron hoes across their shoulders. Others balance woven baskets on their heads. Every movement feels calm. Nobody rushes. There is confidence in these daily routines because families have followed them for many generations. The land rewards patience. The seasons cannot be hurried. Seeds grow only when they are ready. Rain arrives when the clouds decide. People learn to work with nature instead of trying to control it. This quiet understanding shapes every part of life. The villages are not isolated places. Footpaths connect one community to another. Some paths are narrow. Others are wide enough for groups of travelers. These roads have no signs, yet experienced travelers know them well. They remember unusual rocks, tall trees, small streams, the shape of distant hills, the songs of certain birds. Everything becomes a guide. Even the wind can tell an experienced traveler which direction to follow. Some roads lead only to nearby villages. Others continue far beyond the horizon. Those longer roads carry something very important. Trade. Trade is not simply the exchange of objects. It is also the exchange of ideas. People meet strangers. They hear unfamiliar languages. They discover new foods. They learn different customs. They carry stories back home. Every journey makes the world feel a little larger. Imagine meeting a traveler who has walked for many weeks. His sandals are dusty. His clothing shows signs of a long journey. Across his shoulder hangs a leather bag filled with carefully wrapped goods. Perhaps he carries beautiful shells from the coast. Perhaps bright cloth woven in another kingdom. Perhaps finely carved wooden bowls. Or smooth pieces of copper that shine warmly in the sunlight. He smiles when villagers greet him. Soon everyone gathers nearby. Children are especially curious. Where has he come from? What has he seen? Has he crossed wide rivers? Did he meet people who speak different languages? Did he see elephants? Or towering mountains? The traveler answers each question with patience. His stories become entertainment for the entire village. For a little while, everyone travels through his memories. Long before maps were carefully drawn, people understood the world through stories like these. Every traveler became a living book. Every conversation added another page. Across West Africa, many different peoples lived side by side. Each had its own traditions, its own songs, its own clothing, its own favorite foods, its own ways of celebrating weddings and welcoming newborn children. Some communities lived close to forests. Others preferred open grasslands. Some depended upon rivers. Others followed herds of cattle across wide plains. Their lives were different, yet trade connected them all. Among these many peoples were the Mande. Their communities would one day help create the Mali Empire. But at this moment in our journey, they are simply families living ordinary lives. Children laugh while chasing one another between homes. Women prepare meals together. Men repair fences or sharpen farming tools. Grandparents teach lessons that cannot be found in books. Respect is one of the greatest values. Young people greet their elders politely. Advice from older family members is listened to carefully. Experience carries great weight. An old farmer knows when rain is likely to come. An elderly hunter understands the habits of animals. A grandmother remembers the healing plants growing deep inside nearby forests. Knowledge is treasured because it keeps communities strong. As the seasons pass, children slowly become adults. Learning never truly ends. Boys may spend time with hunters or craftsmen. Girls often learn cooking, weaving, farming, pottery, or caring for younger children. Of course, every family is a little different. Every village has its own customs. But one lesson appears almost everywhere. Work is something to be shared. No one succeeds entirely alone. Imagine helping build a new home. Neighbors arrive carrying bundles of wood. Others bring mud mixed with straw. Some gather stones. Someone sings quietly while working. Another person tells a funny story. Laughter spreads across the group. By sunset, the walls stand tall. Tomorrow, the roof will be finished. The house belongs to one family, yet many hands help create it. This spirit of cooperation makes villages stronger than any single person could ever be. The same idea appears during harvest season. Fields become busy places filled with movement. People work side by side beneath the warm sun. Grain is gathered carefully. Nothing should be wasted. Children help in small ways. Even simple tasks matter. At the end of the day, everyone returns home tired but satisfied. Food harvested together will feed the community through the months ahead. As evening arrives, another kind of work begins. Musicians bring out simple instruments. A drum rests on the ground. Someone tunes a stringed instrument. Another claps softly to keep the rhythm. Music fills the cool evening air. It is gentle, steady, comforting. Some songs celebrate successful harvest. Others remember respected ancestors. Many teach important lessons through easy-to-remember words. Music helps preserve history. It also brings joy after long days of work. Children dance with wide smiles. Older people watch with quiet happiness. No one is in a hurry for the night to end. Among the musicians may be a griot, a keeper of memory, a guardian of stories. The griot knows family histories stretching back many generations. He remembers great leaders, ancient agreements, old friendships, important journeys. When disagreements arise, people sometimes ask the griot to recall events from long ago. His memory helps settle questions fairly. Without written records, his knowledge becomes incredibly valuable. Imagine sitting beside a small fire while the griot begins another story. His voice rises and falls gently. Every word has been practiced countless times. The children lean closer. Even adults listen with respect. Tonight he tells the story of brave travelers who crossed difficult lands not to conquer others, but to build friendships through trade. Tomorrow he may tell another story. Each one adds another thread to the great fabric of memory. Far beyond these peaceful villages, something remarkable is happening. Across the vast Sahara Desert, long lines of camels slowly move over endless waves of golden sand. Each camel carries heavy loads: salt, cloth, copper, glass beads, carefully packed supplies. The journey is long, very long, sometimes lasting several months. Travelers rise before sunrise to avoid the hottest hours of the day. They know every oasis, every well, every safe resting place. Without this knowledge, the desert would quickly become dangerous. The Sahara may appear empty from a distance, but it is full of hidden paths. Experienced guides remember them all. These camel caravans slowly connect North Africa with the kingdoms farther south. What begins as a few travelers eventually becomes one of history's greatest trading networks. Goods travel across thousands of miles. So do ideas, languages, religious beliefs, new technologies. Every caravan carries more than merchandise. It carries pieces of the wider world. Few villagers fully understand how important these trade routes will become. They simply welcome travelers, exchange goods, share meals, offer water, listen to stories. Yet these simple acts quietly build connections that stretch farther than anyone can imagine. One generation plants the seeds. Another generation watches them grow. A future generation enjoys the shade of the great tree that follows. History often works this way, not through sudden change, but through thousands of quiet moments that slowly shape the future. As the stars once again appear above the peaceful land, cooking fires burn lower. Families finish their evening meals. The songs become softer. The conversations grow quieter. Children drift toward sleep while listening to the gentle voices of their parents. The cool night breeze moves through the trees. Somewhere far beyond the village, another caravan continues its slow journey beneath the moon. With every careful step across the desert, the world becomes a little more connected. And before many generations have passed, those connections will help give rise to a kingdom whose name will travel across Africa, the Middle East, and even Europe. But for now, let us simply enjoy the quiet night, the peaceful villages, and the steady rhythm of life that continues beneath the bright African stars. In our next part, we will begin to see how the kingdom of Mali slowly emerged from these strong communities, and how one remarkable family would lay the foundations for an empire that the world would never forget. The night slowly fades. The stars become fewer, one by one, until only the brightest remain. A soft glow appears along the eastern horizon. The birds begin to sing again. Another peaceful day is ready to begin. Imagine waking in a village beside the Niger River. The cool morning air drifts through the doorway of your home. Somewhere nearby, someone is already grinding grain for breakfast. The steady sound of stone against stone is gentle and familiar. A rooster calls from the edge of the village. Goats stretch lazily before wandering off to search for fresh grass. Children smile as they step outside, still rubbing sleep from their eyes. Life begins again, just as it did yesterday, and just as it will tomorrow. The seasons continue their quiet cycle. The rivers continue to flow. The people continue their work. Yet slowly and almost unnoticed, something larger is beginning to take shape. Many villages have learned that they are stronger when they work together. One village may have rich farmland. Another may have skilled blacksmiths. A third may sit beside an important trading path. By helping one another, everyone benefits. Small alliances begin to form. Leaders meet beneath the shade of great trees. They share meals. They exchange gifts. They discuss the future. Their conversations are calm. There is no need to rush. Trust grows slowly, much like the tallest trees. At the center of these growing partnerships are the Mande people. For generations they have farmed the land, traded with distant neighbors, and passed their stories from one family to another. Now, new opportunities are appearing before them. The trade routes crossing the Sahara are becoming busier every year. More caravans arrive from the north. Some carry blocks of salt cut from deep desert mines. Others bring beautifully woven cloth, fine metal tools, glass beads that sparkle in the sunlight, books copied by careful hands, new ideas about distant lands. In return, traders from the south offer valuable goods that cannot easily be found elsewhere. Ivory, leather, kola nuts, fine cloth woven by skilled artisans, and above all, gold. Gold is becoming one of the most desired treasures in the known world. Kings in North Africa value it. Merchants in the Middle East seek it eagerly. Coins made from African gold pass from one hand to another in cities thousands of miles away. Yet many of the people who mine or trade this gold live simple lives. They do not think of themselves as supplying wealth to distant kingdoms. For them, gold is one part of everyday trade, one valuable gift among many. Imagine walking beside a shallow stream. The water glitters beneath the morning sun. A family kneels quietly near the bank. With patient hands, they wash sand and gravel inside wooden bowls. Most of the sand slips away with the flowing water. Tiny shining pieces remain behind. Small flakes of gold catch the sunlight. No one shouts with excitement. This is careful work. Slow work. The flakes are gathered little by little. A handful today. Perhaps another tomorrow. Over many months, those small pieces become an important source of trade. Far away, someone may imagine great mountains of gold waiting to be collected. The reality is much quieter. Gold comes through patience, just as so many good things do. As trade grows, certain towns become larger. People from many backgrounds arrive each week. Different languages fill the marketplaces. Some visitors wear flowing robes made for desert travel. Others dress in brightly colored woven cloth. Some arrive with camels. Others with donkeys. Many come on foot. Every traveler brings a different story. The market is one of the busiest places in the kingdom. Yet even here, there is an easy rhythm. Imagine yourself walking slowly between rows of market stalls. A woman arranges baskets filled with millet. Nearby, a fisherman offers fresh catches from the river. A potter displays smooth clay jars that shine in the sunlight. A leather worker carefully finishes a beautiful bag. Children laugh while chasing one another through the open spaces. Someone plays a quiet melody on a stringed instrument. The smell of roasted grain drifts through the warm air. Merchants greet old friends with smiles. Visitors pause to admire finely woven cloth. People bargain politely. There is conversation, laughter, kindness. The marketplace is more than a place to buy and sell. It is where news travels. Someone has returned from the north. Another has visited distant forests. A traveler tells of heavy rains far away. Another speaks of a wedding in a neighboring village. People gather not only for goods, but also for stories. Every conversation strengthens the connections between communities. As these connections grow, so does the influence of local rulers. A good leader is respected not because of fear alone, but because he protects the people. He settles disagreements fairly. He encourages trade. He keeps roads safe. He welcomes visitors. He ensures that farmers can work their fields in peace. The people understand that a peaceful kingdom benefits everyone. Travelers feel safe. Merchants return. Families prosper. Children grow up without constant fear. Peace itself becomes one of the kingdom's greatest treasures. Around this time, stories begin to spread about a remarkable man. His name is Sundiata. Many generations later, storytellers will remember him as the founder of the Mali Empire. His life becomes one of West Africa's greatest legends. Like many ancient stories, some parts are history. Some parts are tradition. Some parts have grown richer with each retelling. Tonight, we will not hurry through his story. Instead, let us simply imagine the world into which he was born. A world of villages, trade routes, growing kingdoms, patient farmers, wise elders, travelers crossing great distances, children listening beside evening fires. It is from this quiet world that great leaders often emerge. Not from luxury, not from comfort, but from learning the needs of ordinary people. Imagine a young boy sitting beside his mother while listening to the village griot. He hears stories of kindness, courage, patience, wisdom. He learns that strength is more than fighting. True strength includes keeping promises, helping neighbors, speaking honestly, listening before making decisions. These lessons stay with him throughout his life. No one knows exactly which child will one day become a great ruler. Every child begins in much the same way. Learning, watching, growing, helping with simple daily tasks. Perhaps carrying water. Perhaps collecting firewood. Perhaps following older family members into the fields. Greatness rarely appears overnight. It grows quietly over many years, just like the mighty baobab tree that begins as a tiny seed. As the kingdom slowly grows stronger, blacksmiths become even more important. Their workshops echo with the steady ringing of iron against iron. The sound carries across the village like a calm heartbeat. Inside the workshop, the air feels warm. The fire glows bright orange. A blacksmith lifts heated metal with long iron tongs. Each careful strike shapes the glowing iron into something useful. A farming tool, a cooking knife, a spear for hunting, a strong hinge for a wooden door. Nothing is wasted. Broken tools are repaired whenever possible. Iron is precious. Skill is even more precious. Young apprentices watch carefully. One day they too will master this ancient craft. Knowledge passes from one generation to the next, just as stories do. Nearby, weavers sit beneath shaded roofs. Their fingers move with quiet confidence. Thread crosses thread. Patterns slowly appear. Blue, brown, white, golden yellow. Simple colors become beautiful cloth. Some pieces are made for everyday life. Others are created for important celebrations. The cloth tells its own story through its patterns. Every region has favorite designs. Every family has traditions. Art is woven into daily life, without anyone calling it extraordinary. As afternoon turns toward evening, the heat begins to soften. Long shadows stretch across the ground. Farmers return from the fields. Fishermen pull their boats onto the riverbank. Smoke rises from cooking fires once again. The smell of fresh stews fills the village. Children gather around their grandparents. Dogs curl up beside warm doorways. The sky changes from bright blue to soft shades of orange and gold. The first evening star appears. Another peaceful day comes to an end. No one living here can fully imagine what the future will bring. They cannot know that their kingdom will one day become one of the richest and most respected in the world. They cannot know that travelers from lands they have never seen will write about its greatness. They cannot know that one future ruler will become famous across continents. For now, they simply live. They plant. They harvest. They trade. They sing. They tell stories beneath the stars. And little by little, almost without noticing, they are building the foundations of one of history's most extraordinary empires. As the cool night settles gently across the land once more, let your thoughts drift with the slow-moving river. Listen to the quiet songs carried by the evening breeze. Feel the peaceful rhythm of village life. In our next chapter, we will meet the legendary Sundiata Keita and discover how the Kingdom of Mali truly began its remarkable journey toward becoming a great empire, one careful step at a time. The night has passed peacefully. A gentle breeze moves through the tall grasses. The first light of dawn slowly spreads across the wide lands of West Africa. The village begins to wake once again. A cooking fire is carefully lit. Its thin ribbon of smoke rises into the cool morning air. Someone hums a quiet song while preparing the day's first meal. Nearby, a young child watches with curious eyes. Every new day brings another lesson. Imagine yourself sitting beneath the wide branches of an old baobab tree. Its great trunk is thick and strong. Its roots have held firmly to the earth through countless seasons of rain and sunshine. Many generations have rested beneath its shade. Many stories have been told here. Today, another story begins. It is the story of a child who would one day become one of the most remembered rulers in the history of West Africa. His name was Sundiata. The story of Sundiata has been passed down for hundreds of years by griots, the keepers of memory. Some parts are supported by history. Other parts belong to legend. The two have become woven together like colorful threads in a beautiful cloth. Tonight, we will listen to this story gently, not to separate every fact from every legend, but to understand why it has remained so important for so many generations. Imagine a small royal household. It is not filled with endless luxury. It is busy with the ordinary rhythm of family life. Children laugh in the courtyard. Women prepare meals together. Visitors arrive carrying news from nearby villages. Guards stand quietly at the entrance. The sounds are peaceful. Life continues much as it does in many other homes. Inside this household, a baby has recently been born. His parents look upon him with hope. Like every family, they wonder what kind of person he will become. Will he grow into a wise man? Will he care for his people? Will he bring honor to his family? No one knows the answers. The future always keeps its secrets. As Sundiata grows, his early childhood does not seem especially unusual. He listens carefully to stories. He watches birds flying overhead. He enjoys sitting beside his mother. He learns the names of trees, the paths leading to nearby fields, the changing seasons. He watches older children at play and dreams of joining them. Yet the storytellers tell us that something worried his family. According to tradition, young Sundiata was slow to walk. While other children ran through the village, he remained unable to stand on his own. Day after day passed. Then another month. Then another season. Some people became concerned. Others whispered quietly among themselves. Would the child ever become strong? His mother remained patient. She loved her son deeply. She believed his time would come. Imagine her sitting beside him during the cool evening. She brushes dust from his clothing. She smiles gently. She tells him stories of brave ancestors, not to place heavy expectations upon him, simply to remind him that every life unfolds in its own way. Patience is one of the quiet lessons found throughout this story. Nature itself teaches patience. The tallest tree does not grow in a single season. The river reaches the sea one gentle bend at a time. Even the stars appear slowly as evening falls. Everything important takes time. Perhaps that is why this part of Sundiata's story has been remembered for so long. It reminds people not to judge too quickly. One day, according to the old tradition, Sundiata surprised everyone. He stood, not easily, not quickly, but with determination. The griots describe him grasping a sturdy iron staff for support. Slowly, carefully, he pulled himself upright. The effort was great. His legs trembled. His hands held tightly. Those watching became very quiet. Then one careful step. Another, and another. His mother watched with tears of happiness. The child who had struggled for so long had finally found his strength. Whether every detail happened exactly this way is impossible to know. But the meaning of the story has remained powerful. Great strength sometimes appears after great difficulty. The people remembered this lesson. They passed it from one generation to the next. As Sundiata grew older, he became eager to learn. He listened more than he spoke. Wise elders noticed this. They understood that a good leader must first become a good listener. Many afternoons were spent beneath shaded trees. Older men discussed farming, trade, family traditions, the changing weather. Young Sundiata listened quietly. He asked thoughtful questions. He learned that every decision affected many people. A ruler could not think only of himself. He must think of farmers waiting for rain, merchants traveling dangerous roads, children needing food, families hopping for peace. These lessons were far more valuable than gold. At other times, he walked through nearby forests with experienced hunters. The hunters moved almost silently. They noticed tiny footprints in the soil, broken branches, fresh animal tracks, bird calls that hinted at hidden dangers or nearby water. Everything in nature spoke its own language. The hunters simply knew how to listen. Sundiata watched carefully. He learned that patience often reveals more than speed. Imagine walking beside them. The forest feels cool beneath its leafy roof. Sunlight slips through small openings in the branches. Colorful birds flutter from tree to tree. A gentle breeze carries the scent of fresh earth. No one rushes. Every step is taken with care. The hunters understand that nature rewards quiet observation. This peaceful way of learning shapes the young prince. He also spends time watching craftsmen at work. A blacksmith patiently shapes glowing iron. A potter spins wet clay into smooth jars. A weaver creates beautiful cloth thread by thread. Nothing appears instantly. Every skill requires practice. Every masterpiece begins with simple movements, repeated many times. The young prince begins to understand another important lesson. An empire is built in much the same way. One village, one agreement, one friendship, one careful decision at a time. As the years pass, travelers continue arriving from distant lands. Some speak unfamiliar languages. Some carry goods that few villagers have ever seen. Bright glass beads catch the sunlight. Fine fabrics feel soft beneath curious fingers. Books written in graceful Arabic script are carefully protected inside leather bags. The visitors bring news from cities beyond the Sahara. They speak of enormous markets, great libraries, mosques where hundreds gather to pray, bustling streets filled with merchants from many nations. Young Sundiata listens with fascination. The world is larger than he once imagined. Every traveler expands his understanding. He begins to see that a wise ruler should never stop learning. Even strangers may carry valuable knowledge. Hospitality becomes more than kindness. It becomes a path toward wisdom. Each guest teaches something new. As evening returns, the village once again gathers around cooking fires. The smell of fresh millet porridge drifts through the cool air. Families share the day's stories. Children laugh. Dogs curl beside warm doorways. The stars slowly brighten above the peaceful land. The griot begins another tale. Tonight he speaks not only of famous kings. He speaks of ordinary people whose quiet acts of generosity changed many lives. A farmer who shared food during a difficult season. A traveler who guided strangers safely across dangerous roads. A woman whose wisdom settled disagreements between neighbors. The lesson is simple. Greatness is not measured only by crowns or riches. It is measured by kindness, by patience, by service to others. Young Sundiata listens closely. These stories settle gently in his heart. One day, they will help shape the kind of ruler he becomes. For now, though, he is simply a curious boy beneath the vast African sky. A child who enjoys listening, learning, watching, growing stronger with each passing season. The future still waits quietly ahead. No one can yet see the mighty empire that will rise. No one can yet imagine the generations that will remember his name. But the seeds have already been planted. Just as farmers trust that tiny seeds will one day become rich harvests, the people unknowingly watch the early growth of a leader whose influence will spread far beyond these peaceful villages. As the fire burns lower and the voices grow softer, let your thoughts settle with the quiet rhythm of the evening. The stars continue their silent journey overhead. The river continues its gentle flow. And in the calm stillness of the night, our story slowly moves toward the next chapter of Sundiata's remarkable life, where new challenges and new friendships will quietly shape the future of the kingdom of Mali. Morning arrives with quiet certainty. A pale golden light spreads across the horizon. The cool air carries the scent of damp earth left behind by the night's gentle breeze. Birds begin calling to one another from the branches of acacia trees. The village wakes slowly. Some people stretch outside their homes before beginning the day's work. Others kneel beside small cooking fires, stirring breakfast with calm and practiced hands. The sound of grinding stones fills the air once again. It is a familiar sound. A peaceful sound. A sound that reminds everyone that another ordinary day has begun. Imagine walking through the village beside young Sundiata. He is no longer the small child who struggled to stand. He has grown taller. His steps are steady now. His shoulders are stronger. But what truly sets him apart is not his strength. It is his curiosity. He notices everything around him. He watches how elders greet one another with respect. He observes how traders settle disagreements without anger. He listens to farmers discussing the weather before planting their fields. Every moment becomes a lesson. A wise teacher once tells him something very simple. A person who speaks all day learns very little. A person who listens learns the shape of the world. Sundiata remembers these words. He begins listening even more carefully. When older men speak beneath the shade of the baobab tree, he remains quiet. When travelers describe distant kingdoms, he pays close attention. When craftsmen explain their work, he asks gentle questions. Little by little, knowledge fills his mind. Not all at once, but like rain filling a river. Slowly, steadily. One morning, Sundiata visits the fields with a group of farmers. The sun has only just risen. The soil is soft beneath their feet. Rows of millet sway gently in the breeze. Some farmers inspect the leaves for signs of insects. Others check whether the ground still holds enough moisture from recent rains. The work appears simple, yet every movement comes from years of experience. One elderly farmer kneels beside a young plant. He brushes away a few weeds. Then he smiles. "This field teaches patience," he says. "You cannot shout at a seed and make it grow." The others laugh softly. Sundiata smiles as well. He understands that the farmer is speaking about more than crops. He is speaking about life itself. Many important things cannot be rushed. The lesson stays with him. Later that day, Sundiata walks toward the village workshop where the blacksmith is already hard at work. The fire glows brightly. The bellows breathe air into the flames. Iron rests inside until it shines with deep orange light. The blacksmith lifts it carefully. Then comes the steady rhythm. Clang, clang, clang. Each strike is measured. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is hurried. The blacksmith explains that if the iron is struck too early, it bends poorly. If struck too late, it becomes too hard. The right moment matters. Timing matters. Patience matters. Again, Sundiata learns that wisdom often hides inside ordinary work. Nearby, young apprentices watch every movement. They understand that mastery does not arrive in a single day. It comes after many seasons of practice. Every mistake teaches something useful. Every success grows from countless small efforts. As afternoon approaches, traders begin arriving from neighboring villages. Their donkeys carry baskets filled with goods. One merchant offers beautifully dyed cloth. Another brings smooth wooden bowls carved from strong local trees. Someone else has jars of honey collected from wild bees. The marketplace slowly fills with friendly conversation. Imagine strolling through the market beside Sundiata. You hear many different voices. Some people speak Mandinka. Others speak languages from neighboring lands. Every greeting is warm. Every handshake is respectful. A woman selling woven baskets proudly explains how each one was made. A leatherworker carefully displays finely stitched sandals. Children carry small bundles for their parents. No one seems hurried. Business is important, but so are relationships. Many traders have known one another for years. Trust is worth more than a single successful sale. The young prince notices this. He begins to understand that wealth grows best where trust already exists. Coins alone cannot build strong friendships. Kindness can. Honesty can. Keeping one's word can. As the market becomes busier, a caravan arrives from farther away. The camels move slowly. Their long legs seem perfectly suited for the endless desert journeys behind them. Their loads are carefully tied. Salt wrapped in leather. Beautiful fabrics. Copper bars. Books protected inside strong cases. The caravan leader smiles wearily. Weeks of travel have left dust upon his robe. Still, his eyes bright as villagers offer cool water. Hospitality comes before business. It is the custom. First, guests are welcomed. Then they rest. Only afterward does trade begin. Sundiata watches carefully. He sees that kindness opens doors which force never could. The caravan leader tells stories of places beyond the Sahara. He describes cities where tall buildings stand close together. Libraries filled with hundreds of handwritten books. Mosques whose courtyards welcome travelers from many lands. Markets larger than anything the young prince has ever imagined. Sundiata listens with wide eyes. The world continues growing larger inside his imagination. He realizes that no kingdom stands alone. Every nation is connected in some way. Roads, rivers, trade, ideas, friendships. These invisible threads bind distant peoples together. A ruler who understands these connections will lead wisely. Later that evening, Sundiata joins the hunters once again. This time, they travel farther into the woodland. The air beneath the trees feels cool. Sunlight dances across the forest floor. Small animals dart quietly through the undergrowth. One hunter pauses beside a patch of soft earth. He points toward faint footprints. "What do you see?" he asks. Sundiata studies the ground. At first he notices nothing unusual. Then slowly, he recognizes the shape of antelope tracks. The hunter nods with approval. "You are learning to see." The lesson is not only about hunting. It is about paying attention. Many people look. Few truly see. A future ruler must notice small changes before they become great problems. He must hear quiet worries before they become loud complaints. Observation becomes another important lesson. As sunset approaches, the hunters return home. Golden light stretches across the land. Long shadows reach between the trees. The village appears peaceful. Smoke rises from evening fires. Children chase one another through the open spaces before being called home for supper. The smell of roasted fish mixes with fresh millet and vegetables. Families gather together. The day's work is complete. Night falls slowly. Above them, the stars begin shining once more. The griot sits before the gathered villagers. His voice is calm, measured. Tonight he tells of rulers from long ago. Some were remembered because they conquered many lands. Others because they built great cities. But the most respected were those who brought peace. Those who listened before judging. Those who shared food during difficult seasons. Those who protected travelers. Those who encouraged learning. The griot pauses. Then he says softly, "A king's greatest treasure is not gold. It is the trust of his people." Silence follows. Not an empty silence. A thoughtful one. The words settle gently into every listening heart. Young Sundiata remembers them. Years later, when difficult choices stand before him, these simple lessons will guide his decisions. For now, he remains a student, a careful observer, a patient listener. He does not yet wear the weight of a crown. He carries only questions. And perhaps that is the best beginning for any future leader. As the fire burns lower and families quietly return to their homes, the village grows still. The moon rises above the trees. The Niger River continues its gentle journey through the darkness. Somewhere beyond the horizon, traders continue crossing the Great Sahara beneath the same moon. And here in this peaceful corner of West Africa, a young prince continues learning, not only how to become a king, but how to become a wise and compassionate man. As the night grows deeper, let your thoughts drift as gently as the river itself. Our journey will continue in the next part, where the calm days of learning slowly give way to the challenges that will shape Sundiata into the founder of the Mali Empire. The morning arrives quietly once again. The first rays of sunlight spread across the wide grasslands. A gentle breeze stirs the leaves of the great baobab trees. The village slowly comes to life. Women sweep the ground outside their homes with careful movements. Children laugh as they chase a curious goat through the open space between houses. From the riverside comes the soft splash of fishermen pushing their wooden boats into the water. The world feels peaceful. It is a morning much like many others. Yet sometimes, even the calmest mornings quietly carry the beginning of great change. Imagine walking beside young Sundiata once more. He has grown into a thoughtful young man. His body has become strong from years of walking, working, and learning. His mind has become even stronger. He has listened to elders. He has watched craftsmen. He has spoken with travelers. He understands that the world is much larger than the villages of his childhood. But he also understands that life rarely follows a smooth path forever. The old griots tell us that after the death of Sundiata's father, the kingdom entered a difficult time. Different families hoped to gain influence. Old friendships were tested. Some leaders remained loyal. Others looked for new opportunities. As with many stories from long ago, the exact details are difficult to know. The oral traditions tell the story with poetry and symbolism. Modern historians believe that many political struggles likely took place, though the details have been softened or expanded over generations of storytelling. For the people who first heard these stories, however, the lesson mattered just as much as the facts. Even peaceful kingdoms sometimes face uncertain seasons. Imagine the royal household growing quieter than before. Conversations become softer. Adults pause before speaking. Visitors arrive carrying important news. Messengers come and go along the dusty roads. Children notice that something has changed, even if they do not fully understand what it is. Sundiata watches carefully. He senses that his family is entering a difficult chapter. His mother remains calm. She reminds him that storms do not last forever. Just as the rainy season eventually gives way to clear skies, difficult times also pass. Her words stay with him. Patience, she says, is strongest when life becomes uncertain. According to the traditional stories, Sundiata and his family eventually leave their home. Not as proud travelers, not as wealthy merchants, but as guests seeking safety among friendly kingdoms. Imagine the journey beginning at sunrise. The family carries only what they truly need. Bundles of clothing, simple tools, carefully wrapped food for the road, a few treasured possessions. Nothing more. Behind them, familiar homes slowly disappear into the distance. Ahead lies a road they have never traveled before. The air is cool. Birdsong fills the trees. The path winds through open grasslands, where wildflowers bloom after recent rains. Although the future is uncertain, the beauty of the land remains unchanged. Sometimes life asks people to leave familiar places behind. Many of us know that feeling in one way or another. A new home, a new school, a new job, a journey into the unknown. The old story of Sundiata reminds us that leaving home can also become the beginning of unexpected growth. As the travelers move from village to village, they are welcomed by many communities. Hospitality remains one of the greatest traditions of West Africa. Guests are offered fresh water before anything else. Then food. Then a place to rest. Only afterward do conversations begin. Imagine arriving at a village just before sunset. Smoke rises gently from evening fires. Children stop their games to watch the newcomers. An elder steps forward with a warm smile. There is no suspicion, only kindness. The visitors are invited to sit beneath the shade of a large tree. Cool water is brought in polished clay pots. Fresh millet porridge is shared. Someone offers roasted fish from the nearby river. As darkness falls, stories are exchanged around the evening fire. The travelers speak of the roads they have crossed. Their hosts describe the seasons in their own lands. Laughter quietly fills the night. Friendship begins with simple acts like these. For young Sundiata, every stop along the journey becomes another classroom. Each kingdom has its own customs. Some villages build their homes in slightly different ways. Others weave cloth with unique patterns. Some play unfamiliar musical instruments. Others prepare food using recipes he has never tasted before. The differences are gentle, interesting, beautiful. He begins to understand that there are many good ways to live. A wise ruler should never believe that only his own customs matter. Respect for others strengthens peace. Curiosity strengthens wisdom. One afternoon, the travelers reach a larger town filled with merchants. The market is busy from sunrise until evening. Camels kneel beside heavy bundles. Donkeys carry baskets of grain. Women display bright fabrics woven with remarkable skill. The smell of spices drifts through the warm air. Some merchants have come from nearby forests, others from distant desert cities. The young prince walks slowly through the market. He notices something important. Trade is built upon trust. A merchant who cheats customers may earn a little today, but tomorrow no one returns. An honest merchant gains loyal friends for many years. The same is true for rulers. Trust grows slowly, but once earned, it becomes more valuable than gold. These quiet observations remain in Sundiata's heart. During the long journey, he also meets many craftsmen. An elderly potter allows him to shape clay upon a spinning wheel. The clay feels cool and soft between his fingers. At first, the bowl leans awkwardly to one side. The potter laughs kindly. "There is no shame in learning," he says. "Every master was once a beginner." Another day, a skilled weaver invites him to watch colorful cloth take shape. Hundreds of threads cross one another with perfect rhythm. The work requires complete attention. One broken thread can weaken the whole fabric. Again, the lesson reaches beyond weaving. A kingdom is much the same. Every village matters. Every family matters. Every promise matters. Strength comes from many small parts working together. Months pass. The seasons slowly change. The rains arrive and then fade away. Green fields become golden beneath the sun. The stars overhead slowly shift with the passing year. The travelers continue learning wherever they go. Sometimes they stay only a few days. Sometimes many months. Every place leaves its mark upon the young prince. The griots tell us that Sundiata became known for his kindness during these years. He greeted elders with respect. He listened more than he spoke. He thanked every family that offered shelter. People remembered these small acts. Long before becoming a king, he learned how to be a good guest. Perhaps this is another quiet lesson hidden inside the old stories. A person who knows how to serve others often becomes a better leader later. Power without humility rarely lasts. As another peaceful evening settles across the land, the travelers gather beside a small fire. Above them stretches an endless sky filled with stars. The Milky Way glows softly across the darkness like a river of light. Crickets sing from the grasses. Somewhere in the distance, a hyena calls across the night. The sound is not frightening. It is simply another voice belonging to the African landscape. Sundiata gazes upward. He wonders what the future may hold. Will he ever return home? Will he remain a traveler forever? No one around the fire can answer those questions. The future remains hidden, just beyond the horizon. Yet every step of this long journey is quietly preparing him for the life ahead. He is learning not only about kingdoms, but about people. Not only about trade, but about trust. Not only about leadership, but about compassion. These lessons cannot be taught from a throne. They must be lived. As the fire slowly burns down to glowing embers, the travelers wrap themselves in simple blankets. The cool night air settles gently over the camp. The stars continue their silent journey across the heavens. The great Niger River flows peacefully many miles away. And somewhere beyond the darkness, destiny waits with patient hands. In the next part of our journey, we will discover how the young prince begins gathering loyal friends and allies, setting the stage for the quiet return that will one day give birth to the mighty Mali Empire. The stars slowly fade into the pale blue of morning. A cool breeze moves across the open grasslands. The air is fresh after a quiet night. Tiny birds flutter between the branches, greeting the new day with cheerful songs. A cooking fire is lit once more. Its gentle crackling breaks the silence. A pot of millet porridge begins to warm over the flames. The travelers rise one by one. Some stretch their tired legs. Others quietly fold their blankets. A few walk to a nearby stream to wash away the dust of yesterday's journey. The road is waiting. Imagine yourself among them. The earth beneath your feet still feels cool. The sky above is wide and clear. There is no hurry. The caravan moves at the steady pace that has carried travelers across West Africa for countless generations. Step by step, mile by mile, the journey continues. For Sundiata, these years away from his birthplace become some of the most important of his life. When people later remembered him as a great king, they often spoke of battles and victories. But before any of those moments came years of quiet learning. Years of meeting people. Years of earning trust. These peaceful days shaped him just as much as anything that happened later. Every village welcomed him into another way of living. Every elder shared another lesson. Every traveler added another story to his growing understanding of the world. One afternoon, the travelers arrive at a farming community surrounded by broad fields of millet and sorghum. The crops sway gently beneath the afternoon breeze. Farmers bend over their work with calm, practiced movements. Children carry small baskets filled with freshly gathered vegetables. A young girl laughs as she chases a chicken that has wandered into the garden. The simple scene brings smiles to everyone who watches. Life here is not rich with gold. It is rich with routine, with cooperation, with family. An elderly farmer notices the visitors and waves them over. His face is lined by many years beneath the African sun. His smile is warm. He offers water without hesitation. Soon everyone is sitting beneath the shade of a large tree. The old farmer speaks slowly. The earth gives us enough, he says, but only if we care for it together. He points toward the fields. No single person planted all of this. He smiles toward the children carrying baskets. No single person will harvest it either. Sundiata nods thoughtfully. He has heard similar lessons before, yet each time they seem deeper. A kingdom, he begins to realize, is like a great field. Everyone must work together if everyone hopes to eat. Later that evening, musicians gather in the center of the village. One man gently tightens the strings of a kora. Another warms a hand drum over a small fire so that its sound will remain clear and deep. Children gather first, then their parents. Soon nearly, the whole village sits together beneath the evening sky. The music begins softly. The kora produces notes that seem to flow like water. The drums answer with slow, gentle rhythms. No one rushes to dance. Some simply close their eyes and listen. Others quietly sway with the music. The songs tell stories. Not stories of endless war, but stories of family, harvests, long journeys, friendship, rain arriving after months of dry weather, children growing into wise adults. The music carries memory. Sundiata listens carefully. He understands that songs can preserve history just as surely as words spoken by a griot. As the evening grows darker, one of the village storytellers begins speaking. His voice is calm. His words are unhurried. He tells of a hunter who became famous not because he caught the most animals, but because he always shared his food with widows and orphans. Another tale speaks of a woman who ended a bitter disagreement simply by inviting both families to share the same meal. The storyteller smiles. Sometimes, he says, the strongest hand is the one that offers peace. The villagers nod. No one argues. The lesson is already familiar. Sundiata quietly stores these stories inside his heart. One day he may need them. The travelers continue their journey through many lands. Some villages stand beside broad rivers, where fishermen cast woven nets into the water. Others rest at the edge of forests filled with towering trees. In the forests, monkeys chatter high above the ground. Bright birds flash through the leaves like living jewels. The air feels cool beneath the thick canopy. Sunlight reaches the earth only in scattered patches. Sundiata enjoys walking through these quiet forests. An experienced guide teaches him the names of useful plants. One leaf helps ease fever. Another plant can be woven into strong rope. The bark of one tree makes excellent medicine. Nature is generous to those who learn its language. Again, Sundiata discovers that knowledge is hidden everywhere. Not only in royal courts, not only in marketplaces, but in forests, fields, rivers, and conversations with ordinary people. As the months pass, his reputation quietly grows. People remember the polite young prince. They remember that he always thanked those who welcomed him. They remember that he listened with respect. Some begin calling him back whenever they hear he is passing nearby. Not because he is a prince, but because he is kind. Friendship spreads quietly. One handshake at a time. One shared meal at a time. One honest conversation at a time. Perhaps this is how the strongest friendships are always formed. Not through grand promises, but through many small moments of trust. During one visit, an old blacksmith invites Sundiata into his workshop. The air is warm from the glowing forge. The steady ringing of iron echoes through the building. The blacksmith places 2 iron bars before the young prince. One has been shaped with patience. Its edges are smooth. Its balance feels perfect. The other was rushed. Its surface is uneven. Small cracks already appear along its sides. The old craftsman lifts the first bar. This one will last many years. Then he lifts the second. This one may break tomorrow. He looks at Sundiata with gentle eyes. The difference is not strength. He pauses. The difference is patience. The lesson needs no further explanation. As the seasons continue changing, Sundiata also learns the importance of keeping promises. One merchant tells him that a ruler's word travels farther than his soldiers. If people trust your words, the merchant explains, they will gladly travel hundreds of miles to trade in your markets. If they do not trust your words, even your nearest neighbors may stay away. Again, another simple lesson. Again, another piece of wisdom quietly added to the young prince's growing understanding. Years pass almost unnoticed. Children whom Sundiata first met as toddlers are now helping their parents in the fields. Young trees have grown taller. Fresh houses have been built. New roads have appeared between villages. Time continues its gentle work upon the world. One peaceful evening, after sharing supper with another welcoming family, Sundiata walks alone beneath the stars. The moon hangs low above the horizon. The night is cool. The air smells faintly of wood smoke and flowering grass. He thinks about everything he has learned. The farmers taught him patience. The hunters taught him observation. The merchants taught him honesty. The craftsmen taught him careful work. The griots taught him memory. The mothers taught him kindness. The elders taught him wisdom. The children reminded him of hope. He realizes something important. No single teacher can shape a great leader. It takes many voices, many places, many seasons, many friendships. Perhaps that is why his long years away from home were never truly wasted. Every mile of the journey has quietly prepared him for what lies ahead. As the fire in the village slowly fades into glowing embers, families return to their homes. The songs grow softer. The conversations become whispers. Above them, countless stars continue their endless journey across the heavens. Somewhere beyond the horizon, the land of his birth still waits. The people there do not yet know it. But the quiet prince who left years ago is slowly becoming the wise leader they will one day need. And as the peaceful African night grows deeper, our story gently moves toward the moment when Sundiata will hear that the time has come to return home, not with anger or pride, but with the friendships, wisdom, and quiet strength that he has gathered along the long road. The cool night slowly gives way to another peaceful dawn. A faint silver mist rests above the river. The first birds greet the morning from the tops of tall trees. Somewhere nearby, a shepherd quietly leads a small herd of cattle toward fresh grass. The animals move without hurry. Their bells make soft, gentle sounds that drift across the open land. The world awakens in its familiar rhythm. Imagine walking beside Sundiata once again. Many seasons have passed since he first left his homeland. The roads beneath his feet have become familiar friends. He knows where the rivers bend. He remembers the villages where generous families welcomed him. He recognizes the songs sung in different regions. He has watched children grow into adults. He has seen crops planted and harvested many times. The journey that once felt uncertain has quietly become a life of learning. But even the longest journeys eventually begin to turn toward home. One peaceful afternoon, as the sun hangs high above the grasslands, a traveler arrives carrying news. His clothing is dusty from many days upon the road. His sandals show signs of long travel. He is welcomed with cool water before he speaks. Only after resting beneath the shade of a tree does he begin to tell his story. He has come from the lands where Sundiata was born. The people there remember him. Many still speak his name with hope. The kingdom has continued to face difficult times. Some villages feel uncertain. Trade has become less steady than before. Families wonder when peace will fully return. The traveler speaks calmly. There is no panic in his voice, only quiet concern. As Sundiata listens, memories begin to return. He remembers the paths of his childhood, the wide river where fishermen cast their nets, the great baobab tree beneath which elders shared their wisdom, the familiar smell of cooking fires at sunset, the voices of neighbors greeting one another each morning. Home has never truly left his heart. It has simply been waiting. That evening, after the meal is finished and the stars begin to appear overhead, Sundiata sits quietly beside the fire. The flames dance softly before him. The night insects begin their steady song. No one interrupts his thoughts. Sometimes silence is the greatest companion. He thinks about everything he has learned during his years away. The patient farmers, the careful blacksmiths, the honest merchants, the wise griots, the welcoming families. Each person has shaped him in some small way. He realizes that the road has given him more than experience. It has given him understanding. He now knows that every village has its own hopes. Every family has its own worries. Every traveler carries dreams of a peaceful tomorrow. A ruler who understands these simple truths may lead with compassion instead of pride. The following morning, Sundiata walks to a nearby stream. The water flows gently over smooth stones. He kneels and watches the current. The river never rushes. It simply continues forward. Day after day, season after season. Even when great rocks stand in its path, the water finds another way. Perhaps leadership is much the same. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet persistence. The old lessons return to him once more. The tallest tree began as a tiny seed. The strongest friendship began with a simple greeting. The greatest kingdom began with a handful of villages helping one another. Everything grows little by little. As word quietly spreads that Sundiata may soon return, trusted friends begin arriving from different communities. Some are hunters he met during his travels. Others are respected elders. A few are merchants whose caravans have crossed the Sahara many times. Each offers advice rather than commands. One elder says softly, "A leader must know when to speak." Another smiles and adds, "And when to remain silent." A merchant gently reminds him, "People remember fairness much longer than they remember victories." A hunter speaks while sharpening his spear. The strongest hunter protects the forest, not only himself. Each person offers a different lesson. Together, those lessons form a quiet guide for the future. No one speaks of glory. No one dreams aloud of riches. Instead, they speak of peace, of safe roads, of full markets, of children growing up without fear. Their hopes are wonderfully ordinary, and perhaps that is why they matter so much. Imagine sitting among them as the evening breeze cools the warm earth. The fire crackles gently. Fresh bread is passed from hand to hand. Someone pours water into small wooden cups. The conversation drifts naturally between stories and thoughtful silence. These are not men preparing for conquest. They are friends hopping to restore balance. That hope feels calm, steady, like the quiet flow of the Niger River. During the days that follow, Sundiata continues visiting nearby villages. He thanks every family that offered shelter during his years of travel. Some people embrace him like an old friend. Children who once listened to his stories now stand nearly as tall as he does. Older villagers smile proudly when they see how much he has grown. One grandmother places her hands gently upon his shoulders. "You arrived here as a young traveler," she says. "You leave as a man who understands people." Her words remain with him long after he continues down the road. Not far away, another village prepares for a harvest celebration. The fields have produced generous crops. The air is filled with laughter. Women sing while gathering bundles of grain. Men carry heavy baskets toward large storage houses. Children decorate the open gathering place with fresh flowers and woven grasses. As evening falls, everyone joins together beneath the stars. Music fills the night. The chorus sings its gentle melody. Drums keep a slow and comforting rhythm. The griot stands before the gathering. His voice carries easily through the peaceful evening. He tells stories of kings, of travelers, of ordinary farmers whose kindness changed the lives of their neighbors. Then he pauses. He looks toward Sundiata. Without mentioning him directly, he says, "There comes a time when every traveler must decide whether the road has taught enough." The villagers grow quiet. The meaning is clear. Learning is precious. But wisdom also asks us to use what we have learned. Sundiata lowers his eyes thoughtfully. He understands. The years of wandering have prepared him. The time for endless travel is slowly coming to an end. Soon another journey will begin. The journey home. As dawn arrives a few days later, preparations quietly begin. Nothing feels hurried. Friends gather supplies. Fresh water is stored inside carefully sealed leather bags. Simple food is packed for the road. Walking staffs are checked. Sandals are repaired where needed. Everything is done with patience, just as every important task has always been done. Before leaving, Sundiata walks one last time through the peaceful village that has sheltered him. He thanks the blacksmith. He thanks the farmers. He thanks the women who shared meals with strangers. He thanks the children whose laughter brightened many evenings. No gift of gold could repay such kindness. Only gratitude can. The villagers gather to wish him well. There are smiles, warm embraces, quiet blessings for safe travel. One elder raises his hand and says, "May your road be guided by wisdom." Another adds, "And may your heart remain as gentle as it is today." The sun climbs slowly above the horizon. The travelers begin walking. Their shadows stretch long across the grass. Behind them, the village grows smaller with every step. Ahead lies the homeland that has waited patiently through many seasons. No one knows exactly what awaits them there. But Sundiata no longer walks as an uncertain young exile. He walks as a man shaped by countless acts of kindness, by patient teachers, by honest friendships, by the quiet wisdom found in villages scattered across the great lands of West Africa. As the morning breeze carries the sounds of birdsong across the open plains, our own journey gently follows beside him. Step by step, mile by mile, ever closer to the moment when the wandering prince will return, bringing with him not only hope for his people, but the calm and thoughtful leadership that will one day become the foundation of the Mali Empire. The morning sun rises slowly over the wide plains of West Africa. A gentle golden light spreads across the grasses until each blade seems to glow for a moment. The cool air of dawn lingers only briefly before the warmth of the day begins to arrive. Birds circle high above the river. Their shadows drift silently across the water below. Imagine walking beside Sundiata as the road slowly carries him closer to the land of his childhood. Every mile feels familiar. A cluster of trees reminds him of a place where he once rested with his father. A bend in the river brings back memories of fishing with friends. A distant hill looks exactly as it did years before. Time has passed. Many seasons have come and gone. Yet the land remembers. And so does he. The closer he comes to home, the more travelers seem to recognize him. Some stop to greet him warmly. Others simply smile as they pass. News travels quickly along the trade roads. A merchant who shares a meal at one village often carries that conversation to the next. By sunset, people many miles away may already know who is approaching. One afternoon, Sundiata and his companions stop beside a quiet stream. The water is clear enough to reflect the drifting clouds above. A group of children from a nearby village gathers to watch the travelers. One little boy steps forward with shy curiosity. "Have you traveled very far?" he asks. Sundiata smiles gently. "I have walked many roads." The child thinks for a moment. "What is the greatest thing you found?" Some of the travelers expect him to speak about large cities, or rich markets, or deserts stretching beyond the horizon. Instead, he answers softly, "I found that kind people live in many places." The children smile. The elders nearby quietly nod. Sometimes the simplest answer carries the deepest truth. As the journey continues, the villages become more familiar. Old paths branch away toward places Sundiata remembers from long ago. He recalls climbing trees with other children, watching fishermen repair their nets, listening to griots beneath the evening stars. Many of the older villagers remember him as well. One elderly woman looks at him carefully before her face brightens. "You have your mother's eyes," she says with a warm smile. "I remember when you were no taller than my walking stick." They both laugh gently. She invites the travelers to stay for the evening meal. Hospitality remains unchanged. Fresh water is offered first, then bowls of steaming millet, roasted fish from the river, green leaves cooked with ground nuts. The meal is simple, yet it tastes like home. That evening after supper, the villagers gather in the open square. The kora begins its soft melody. The drummer taps a slow rhythm. Children dance while their parents clap quietly along. The griot stands and begins telling the story of generations past. Tonight he speaks about families who remained faithful to one another during difficult years. He speaks of patience, of courage, of hope that survives even the longest season of uncertainty. As the story unfolds, many listeners glance quietly towards Sundiata. No one speaks his name. There is no need. Everyone understands the message. Hope has returned to their village, not because of promises, but because a familiar face has come home carrying wisdom instead of anger. The following morning, Sundiata walks alone through the fields before sunrise. The crops sway gently in the cool breeze. Farmers are already beginning their work. One man straightens his back after lifting a heavy basket. He smiles politely. "It is good to see you again." Sundiata returns the smile. "How has the harvest been?" The farmer shrugs gently. "Some years are generous. Some are less so. But we continue planting." The words are simple, yet they remind Sundiata of another lesson. Hope is much like farming. People continue planting because they believe tomorrow can be better than today. Without hope, no seeds would ever be placed into the earth. As he walks farther, he notices small repairs being made to irrigation channels. Young men work beside older farmers. Children carry baskets filled with fresh soil. Nobody has been ordered to help. They simply understand that everyone benefits when the work is shared. This is the kingdom Sundiata remembers. Not perfect, but filled with people willing to help one another. Throughout the day, more visitors arrive. Some are respected elders from nearby villages. Others are merchants whose caravans have traveled across the Sahara. Several hunters who knew Sundiata during his years away also appear. They greet one another warmly. No grand ceremony is needed. Friendship itself is enough. The conversations last for hours. Everyone speaks calmly. They discuss safe roads, healthy harvests, peaceful trade, fair leadership, the needs of ordinary families. Very little is said about power. Much is said about responsibility. One elder quietly observes. A chief may own fine clothing. A king may possess gold. But only a good ruler earns peaceful sleep. The others smile in agreement. Sundiata listens more than he speaks. He asks questions. He invites different opinions. He thanks each person for their advice. Years of travel have taught him that wisdom is never owned by one individual alone. As sunset paints the sky with soft shades of orange and gold, the gathering slowly comes to an end. Families return to their homes. Cooking fires glow across the village. The smell of evening meals drifts gently through the air. Sundiata remains seated beneath the old baobab tree. Its wide branches spread above him, just as they did during his childhood. He places one hand against its rough bark. The tree has witnessed countless seasons. It has stood through storms, dry years, abundant harvests. Generations have come and gone beneath its shade. Still it remains, strong, patient, steady. He realizes that true leadership should be like this ancient tree, offering shelter, providing strength, standing quietly for the benefit of others, not seeking praise, simply doing what is needed. As darkness settles gently across the village, the stars appear one by one. The same stars that watched over him during his long years of wandering now shine above his homeland once again. The journey has come full circle. Yet another journey is only beginning. The people are ready for change. Not sudden change. Not change born from fear. But change built upon trust. Upon cooperation. Upon the lessons gathered from many villages and many years. The wandering prince has returned. He carries no treasure chests filled with gold. His greatest treasure cannot be weighed. It is patience, kindness, humility, understanding. These are the gifts that the long road has quietly placed into his hands. Soon the time will come when those gifts will be tested. The kingdom of Mali stands on the edge of a new chapter. One that will slowly transform a peaceful homeland into an empire known across continents. But tonight, let us remain beneath the stars. Let us listen to the soft evening breeze moving through the branches of the baobab tree. Let us watch the last glowing embers of the cooking fire fade into the darkness. And let us rest in the quiet comfort of knowing that every great story begins not with triumph, but with a homecoming, a listening heart, and the patient hope of people ready to build a brighter tomorrow. The first light of dawn stretches gently across the land. A thin layer of mist rises from the waters of the Niger River. The surface of the river is so still that it reflects the pale morning sky like polished glass. For a few quiet moments, the world seems to hold its breath. Then the day slowly begins. A fisherman pushes his narrow wooden canoe away from the riverbank. The paddle slips silently into the water. Nearby, women walk toward the wells with smooth clay jars balanced carefully upon their heads. A young boy laughs as he follows his grandfather into the fields, carrying a basket almost as large as himself. Birds fill the air with cheerful songs. The village wakes without hurry. Imagine yourself standing beside Sundiata, beneath the shade of the old baobab tree. The tree looks just as it did when he was a child. Its wide branches stretch across the sky like welcoming arms. Its thick trunk carries the marks of countless rainy seasons. Many leaders have stood here. Many children have played beneath its shade. Many important conversations have taken place under these ancient branches. Now another conversation is about to begin. The people have gathered, not because they seek excitement, not because they expect riches, but because they hope for stability, for peace, for a future where farmers can plant without fear, where merchants can travel safely, where children can grow into adulthood without wondering what tomorrow will bring. These are quiet hopes, yet they are among the greatest hopes any people can have. The elders greet one another with warm smiles. Hunters arrive carrying walking staffs rather than weapons. Merchants come dressed in beautifully woven cloth. Blacksmiths, farmers, fishermen, potters, weavers, and griots all find places beneath the shade. Each person represents a different part of the kingdom. Each voice matters. Sundiata looks around at the gathering. He does not immediately begin speaking. Instead, he listens. The elders discuss the harvest. A merchant explains that some trade routes have become less reliable. A fisherman describes changing water levels in the river. A blacksmith speaks about the need for more iron tools. No one interrupts another. Everyone waits patiently for each speaker to finish. The young leader remembers the lessons of his long journey. A ruler who listens first often understands more than one who speaks first. As the morning continues, the conversation slowly turns toward the future. How can the villages help one another more effectively? How can travelers move safely across the roads? How can disagreements be settled peacefully before they grow larger? These questions do not have quick answers. Everyone knows that. Good decisions require careful thought. The discussion continues until the sun climbs high into the sky. Finally, Sundiata speaks. His voice is calm, gentle, easy to hear. We all wish for the same things. He pauses. Healthy families, safe roads, peaceful harvests, honest trade. He smiles softly. If our hopes are shared, perhaps our work should also be shared. The gathering grows quiet. The words are simple, yet they feel true. The people begin discussing ways to strengthen the connections between their communities. Some villages agree to help repair important roads after the rainy season. Others promise to welcome travelers and protect merchants passing through their lands. Several blacksmiths offer to teach young apprentices from neighboring villages. Farmers agree to share seeds when harvests are especially successful. No grand laws are announced. Instead, many small promises are made. Like threads woven together, they begin forming something much stronger. Imagine walking through one of these villages a few weeks later. You notice people working together in new ways. Several families repair a bridge crossing a narrow stream. Young men cut strong timber while older craftsmen shape the beams. Children carry small bundles of rope made from woven plant fibers. Women prepare meals for everyone working beneath the warm afternoon sun. The bridge belongs to no single family. It belongs to everyone. When it is finished, farmers can bring grain to market more easily. Travelers can continue their journey safely. Neighbors can visit one another after heavy rains. A simple bridge quietly changes many lives. Elsewhere, another group clears fallen branches from a forest road. The path has become difficult after a recent storm. Merchants have been forced to take longer routes. Now villagers from both sides of the forest work together. By sunset, the road is open once again. The first travelers pass through before darkness falls. They thank everyone they meet. The road becomes busy again. Trade begins flowing more smoothly. Small acts of cooperation slowly strengthen the kingdom. Perhaps this is how many great things are truly built. Not through one enormous effort, but through countless ordinary people helping one another day after day. As the months pass, the markets become livelier. Imagine entering a large marketplace just after sunrise. Colorful cloth hangs from wooden stalls. Fresh vegetables fill woven baskets. Clay jars stand in neat rows. The smell of roasted fish mixes with sweet honey and warm bread. Camels kneel quietly beside heavy packs. Donkeys wait patiently in the shade. People greet one another by name. Many friendships have grown through years of trading. A merchant from the north unfolds beautifully woven cloth. Another displays bars of salt cut from deep desert mines. Nearby, a local goldsmith carefully weighs tiny pieces of gold dust using delicate scales. Everything is done with patience. Careful hands, careful eyes, honest measurements. Trust remains the foundation of every successful market. Sundiata enjoys visiting these marketplaces, not because he wishes to collect taxes or display authority. He comes to observe. He watches how people treat one another. He notices which merchants attract loyal customers. He listens to travelers describing distant kingdoms. Sometimes he asks children what they enjoy most about market days. Their answers are wonderfully simple. The music, the sweet fruit, seeing camels, meeting cousins from other villages. The market is much more than a place for buying and selling. It is a meeting place for the whole kingdom. Knowledge travels alongside goods. Ideas move as freely as merchants. One afternoon, Sundiata meets an elderly caravan leader resting beneath a large tree. The old man has crossed the Sahara more times than he can remember. His face carries the marks of many years beneath the desert sun. He smiles warmly. The desert teaches many lessons. Sundiata nods. What is the greatest lesson? The old traveler looks toward the distant horizon. In the desert, he says softly, no one survives alone. He explains how caravans share water when supplies grow low. How experienced guides help younger travelers find hidden wells. How everyone watches over one another during sandstorms. The desert rewards cooperation. The kingdom, Sundiata realizes, is not so different. Communities grow stronger when they help rather than compete. As evening slowly approaches, music once again fills the village. Children dance beneath the fading sunlight. Grandparents clap gently to the rhythm. The griot begins telling another story. Tonight he speaks of rivers. He reminds everyone that a great river is not created by one stream alone. It is formed by countless small rivers flowing together. The listeners smile. They understand. The kingdom of Mali is becoming much like that great river. Village by village, promise by promise, friendship by friendship. Its strength grows quietly. Its future begins to shine a little brighter with every passing season. As the stars slowly appear above the peaceful land once more, the cooking fires glow warmly throughout the villages. Families gather together for the evening meal. The conversations are calm. The laughter is gentle. The roads are a little safer than they were before. The markets a little busier. The friendships a little stronger. And beneath the endless African sky, the young kingdom takes another quiet step toward becoming one of the greatest empires the world would ever know. As the night grows still, let your thoughts drift like the gentle waters of the Niger River. Our journey will continue in the next part, where we will explore the bustling trade routes, the precious gold fields, and the peaceful rhythms of daily life that slowly transformed Mali into the heart of West Africa's thriving world. The morning begins with a quiet whisper of wind. It moves gently across the tall grasses, carrying the cool scent of the river into the nearby villages. The sky above is clear. Only a few soft clouds drift slowly toward the west. The day promises warmth, but for now the air is pleasant and calm. Imagine yourself standing on a wide dirt road just outside one of the growing towns of the Mali kingdom. The road is not paved with stone. It is simply a path that thousands of careful footsteps have created over many generations. Its surface is smooth from years of travel. On either side, grasses sway gently. Small trees offer patches of welcome shade. At first, the road seems quiet. Then, far in the distance, you hear something. A soft, steady rhythm. Not music. Not thunder. The gentle sound of many feet moving together. Soon, a long caravan appears on the horizon. The travelers move patiently. No one rushes. At the front walks an experienced guide. He knows every bend in the road, every river crossing, every safe place to rest before sunset. Behind him come the camels. Tall, calm, strong. Their slow steps seem almost effortless. Each animal carries heavy bundles carefully tied with leather ropes. Some carry great blocks of salt. Others transport woven cloth, copper bars, glass beads, and carefully wrapped books. The caravan has already traveled for many weeks, perhaps even months. Its journey began far to the north, across the vast Sahara Desert. Now it enters the lands of Mali, where merchants wait with eager but patient smiles. Imagine walking beside one of these camels. Its long eyelashes protect its eyes from blowing sand. Its broad feet leave deep prints in the dusty road. The animal has crossed endless dunes beneath the hot desert sun. Now it welcomes the sight of green fields and flowing water. Even the camels seem to relax as they approach the Niger River. The caravan finally reaches the marketplace. The merchants do not begin trading immediately. First comes hospitality. Fresh water is offered. The travelers wash the dust from their hands and faces. Simple meals are shared beneath the shade of broad trees. Questions about prices can wait. Friendship comes first. Business follows naturally afterward. This tradition has become one of the quiet strengths of Mali. People enjoy trading with those they trust. Trust cannot be bought. It must be earned. Sundiata understands this very well. He often walks through the marketplace without announcing his arrival. He enjoys watching ordinary life. Children laugh as they chase one another between the market stalls. Women compare colorful fabrics woven in distant villages. A fisherman proudly displays the morning's catch. Nearby, a potter gently taps a finished clay jar, smiling at its clear, strong sound. The market is filled with voices. None are angry. None are hurried. Instead, the air is alive with conversation. Many languages can be heard. Mandinka, Arabic, languages from neighboring kingdoms. Every traveler adds another voice to the great conversation of West Africa. One elderly merchant invites Sundiata to sit beside him. The man has traded across the Sahara for nearly 40 years. His beard has become silver with age. His hands show the roughness of many long journeys. He opens a small leather pouch. Inside lies fine gold dust. It shines softly in the morning light. The merchant smiles. Many people think this is the greatest treasure. He closes the pouch. Then he points toward the busy market around them. I believe this is. He gestures toward the people. The friendships. The trust. The roads. The peaceful markets. He laughs quietly. Without these, the gold would never reach anyone. Sundiata nods. The old merchant has spoken another simple truth. Gold alone cannot create prosperity. People do. Good roads do. Honest trade does. Fair leadership does. As the day continues, more merchants arrive. Some bring ivory carved into beautiful shapes. Others carry leather bags decorated with careful stitching. Bundles of kola nuts are stacked neatly beside baskets of grain. A woman displays finely woven cotton cloth dyed deep blue with natural plants. Another merchant proudly offers fragrant spices from lands far away. Every object tells a story. A carved bowl speaks of the forest where the tree once grew. A salt block tells of the desert mines. A piece of cloth carries the skill of the weaver who patiently created it. Trade is really the movement of human effort from one place to another. Imagine following a single grain of gold. It begins as a tiny sparkling fleck resting among river sand. A miner patiently washes the sand until only the gold remains. The gold is carefully stored inside a small leather pouch. A local merchant purchases it. Weeks later, a caravan carries it north across the Sahara. Months after that, it reaches a busy city where a skilled craftsman melts it into beautiful jewelry or carefully minted coins. Years later, someone may hold that gold without ever knowing the peaceful African river where it first rested. The world is connected in remarkable ways. Most people never see the entire journey. They know only their own small part. Yet every part matters. One afternoon, Sundiata walks toward the river harbor. Large wooden boats are tied securely along the banks. Some are being loaded with sacks of grain. Others carry bundles of firewood or clay jars filled with cooking oil. Boatmen work together with quiet efficiency. One pushes, another pulls. A third steadies the boat against the current. No one shouts. Each person already understands the task. The Niger River serves as another great road. Unlike dusty paths, this road is made entirely of water. Villages many miles apart remain connected because of its steady flow. Messages travel along the river. Families visit distant relatives. Food reaches places where harvests have been poor. The river quietly ties the kingdom together. Sundiata smiles as he watches a young boy learning to paddle his first canoe. The child's strokes are uneven. The boat wobbles from side to side. His grandfather laughs kindly and offers gentle advice. Do not fight the river, he says. Work with it. The lesson reaches beyond boating. A wise leader works with the strengths of the people rather than against them. As evening approaches, the marketplace slowly grows quieter. Merchants carefully cover their goods. Travelers prepare places to sleep before tomorrow's journey. Children help carry unsold baskets back home. The smell of evening meals begins filling the warm air. Cooking fires appear one by one across the village. Families gather together beneath the soft orange light of sunset. Nearby, the griot begins another story. Tonight he speaks about roads. Not the roads made of earth, but the invisible roads between hearts. A road grows stronger, he says gently, each time two strangers become friends. The listeners smile. They have seen this happen many times. A traveler arrives as a stranger. He leaves as a trusted friend. Years later, he returns with more visitors. The road grows busier. The friendship grows deeper. The kingdom grows stronger. Perhaps the greatest wealth of Mali is not hidden beneath the ground. Perhaps it walks upon the roads every single day. It smiles. It shakes hands. It shares meals. It keeps promises. As darkness gently settles across the kingdom, the stars begin shining above the peaceful villages. The camels rest after another long day. The boats rock softly against the riverbank. The merchants sleep beneath the same sky that watches over farmers, fishermen, craftsmen, and kings alike. The roads remain quiet for now. But when morning returns, they will once again fill with travelers carrying goods, stories, ideas, and friendships across the growing kingdom of Mali. And with every peaceful journey, the kingdom moves another gentle step toward becoming the heart of trade in West Africa, a place where people from many lands meet not only to exchange treasures, but also to share the quiet gift of understanding one another. Morning arrives softly over the kingdom of Mali. A pale golden light spreads across the countryside. The cool air carries the gentle smell of wet earth from the riverbanks. Mist rises slowly from the Niger River, drifting across the water before disappearing beneath the warmth of the sun. The land seems peaceful, unhurried, ready for another ordinary day. Imagine taking a slow walk along one of the many small rivers that feed into the mighty Niger. The water is clear enough to see smooth stones resting on the riverbed. Tiny fish dart between them. Dragonflies hover above the surface, their wings shining in the morning light. The only sounds are birds calling from nearby trees and the quiet splash of flowing water. At first glance, this seems like a place of simple beauty. Yet hidden among the sand and gravel lies one of the world's most desired treasures: gold. For many people living in Mali, gold is simply part of the landscape. It is valuable, certainly, but it is not surrounded by endless excitement. It is gathered patiently, carefully, and respectfully. Imagine watching a family working beside the river. They arrive just after sunrise, carrying broad wooden bowls and woven baskets. The oldest member of the family kneels beside the water. He scoops a mixture of sand and gravel into a shallow bowl. Then, with slow, practiced movements, he gently swirls the bowl beneath the water. The lighter sand washes away. The heavier pieces remain. Tiny golden specks begin to appear. The work is quiet. No one rushes. No one shouts with joy each time another fleck is found. Gold comes little by little. One small piece today, another tomorrow, another the following week. Patience fills every movement. Children watch carefully. They are learning the work just as their parents once learned from their own elders. The youngest children are not asked to carry heavy loads. Instead, they learn by observing. They notice how gently the bowls must be tilted, how the water helps separate the sand, how careful hands prevent valuable pieces from being lost. Knowledge passes naturally from one generation to the next. No classroom is needed. The river itself becomes the teacher. Imagine sitting nearby beneath the shade of a broad tree. You hear quiet conversation between family members. They speak about the weather, about the coming harvest, about a cousin who recently married in a neighboring village. Gold is part of their day, but it is not the center of it. Family remains more important. Community remains more important. The rhythm of ordinary life continues. As the morning grows warmer, merchants begin arriving from nearby towns. Some carry leather pouches for weighing gold dust. Others bring cloth, salt, or useful tools to exchange. Trading begins politely. Every measurement is checked carefully. Small balance scales are brought out. Tiny weights are placed on one side. Gold dust is poured onto the other. The scale moves gently, until both sides rest perfectly level. Honesty matters. Everyone watches closely, not because they expect cheating, but because fairness protects friendships. A merchant who gains a reputation for honesty will always find customers waiting. One known for dishonesty soon finds himself standing alone. Sundiata often reminds local leaders of this simple truth. A fair market, he tells them, is stronger than a rich market. At first the words seem unusual, but the elders understand. If people trust one another, prosperity follows naturally. Without trust, even great riches begin to disappear. As the years pass, stories about Mali's gold spread farther and farther away. Merchants carry these stories across the Sahara Desert. Travelers repeat them in busy cities far to the north. Some stories remain accurate. Others become greatly exaggerated. People begin imagining rivers filled entirely with gold, mountains made from shining metal, kings walking through palaces covered in golden walls. The reality is much quieter. The gold is real. Its value is enormous, but it comes through patient work performed by ordinary families living ordinary lives. Imagine one small leather pouch filled with fine gold dust. To someone in a distant city, it may represent incredible wealth. To the family who gathered it, it represents many weeks of careful effort. Long hours beneath the warm sun. Cold mornings beside the river. Steady hands. Patient hearts. Every grain carries a story of hard work. Sundiata understands this better than anyone. He knows that the kingdom's true strength is not simply the gold beneath the rivers. It is the people who care for the land with wisdom. Because of this, traditions begin to develop around gold. Many local rulers prefer that large pieces of gold remain under royal protection. Gold dust, however, is commonly used in trade. This helps maintain balance within the kingdom. Merchants continue buying and selling. The royal court protects the larger treasures. Everyone benefits from clear rules. Imagine visiting one of the kingdom's busiest trading towns during this time. The streets are alive with gentle activity. Donkeys carry baskets of grain. Women display bright cotton cloth, drying beneath the afternoon sun. Children help stack clay jars outside market stalls. A blacksmith wipes sweat from his forehead after shaping another iron farming tool. Nearby, a goldsmith sits quietly inside a shaded workshop. His fingers move with incredible precision. He melts tiny amounts of gold over a charcoal fire. Slowly, carefully, he shapes delicate bracelets, small rings, beautiful ornaments. Nothing is hurried. Every piece reflects remarkable skill. Visitors often stop simply to watch him work. He smiles politely without pausing. His hands already know every movement. Outside the workshop, travelers continue arriving. Some have walked for weeks. Others have crossed great rivers by canoe. A few have spent months crossing the Sahara Desert with camel caravans. Their clothing reveals where they have come from. Some wear flowing desert robes. Others dress in colorful woven fabrics from southern forests. Many languages fill the marketplace. Yet everyone understands the language of fair trade. A smile, a handshake, a respectful greeting. These simple customs allow strangers to become trusted partners. As afternoon slowly turns toward evening, the marketplace begins calming. Merchants cover their goods. Animals are fed and watered. Boats tied along the riverbank rock gently in the current. Children finish their games before returning home. The air fills once again with the comforting smell of evening meals. Millet porridge simmers over cooking fires. Fresh fish roasts above glowing coals. Groundnuts are crushed into rich sauces. Families gather together beneath the fatting light. Conversation drifts easily between neighbors. Someone laughs. Someone tells a story from the day's journey. Another family welcomes travelers who will continue their road tomorrow. Hospitality remains as valuable as gold itself. Later that evening, beneath a sky filled with brilliant stars, the griot begins another tale. He holds up a tiny piece of gold between his fingers. It catches the firelight for just a moment. Then he closes his hand. The gold shines, he says softly, but only because someone patiently searched for it. He looks around at the listening children. Wisdom is the same. It rarely appears all at once. It is gathered little by little. One lesson, one kindness, one season, one lifetime. The children listen carefully. The adults smile knowingly. The lesson belongs to everyone. As the fire slowly settles into glowing embers, the village grows quiet. The river continues flowing through the darkness, carrying tomorrow's stories toward distant lands. Somewhere beneath its waters, tiny grains of gold still rest among the sand, waiting patiently. They are in no hurry. Neither is the river. Neither is the kingdom of Mali. Its greatness is growing in the same gentle way. Not in sudden moments, but through countless peaceful days filled with honest work, shared meals, trusted friendships, and quiet hope. As the stars continue their silent journey across the African sky, let your thoughts drift with the slow current of the river. In the next part of our journey, we will leave the riverbanks for a while and follow the great camel caravans into the endless Sahara, where the desert itself teaches lessons of patience, courage, and cooperation that help shape the future of Mali. The morning sun has not yet risen. The desert is still wrapped in cool darkness. Above, the stars shine with remarkable brightness. There are so many that the sky seems almost filled with silver dust. The air is quiet. Only the faint sound of a camel shifting its weight breaks the silence. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a desert camp. A small fire glows gently among a circle of travelers. Someone quietly pours warm tea into simple cups. Another carefully folds blankets before tying them onto a camel's saddle. No one speaks loudly. Everyone knows that a long day lies ahead. The Sahara Desert is one of the largest deserts on Earth. It stretches farther than the eye can imagine. To many people, it may seem like an empty place, a land of endless sand and little else. But those who know the Sahara understand that it is full of hidden life. Hidden roads, hidden wells, hidden stories. For countless generations, experienced caravan leaders have crossed this remarkable landscape. They know where water can be found. They know which stars guide travelers during the night. They know when to rest, when to walk, and when to wait patiently for the wind to settle. Imagine joining one of these caravans. The first rays of sunlight slowly brighten the eastern sky. The camels kneel quietly while their loads are checked one last time. Leather bags filled with water are tied securely. Bundles of cloth are balanced carefully. Great blocks of salt are fastened with strong ropes. Small leather pouches holding gold dust are hidden safely among the cargo. Nothing is placed carelessly. A loose knot could become a serious problem many days later. The caravan leader walks slowly from one camel to the next. He examines every rope, every bundle, every pack. Only when he is satisfied does he smile gently. It is time. The camels rise one after another. Their long legs unfold with slow and graceful movements. Soon the caravan begins to move. Step, step, step. Their steady pace is almost hypnotic. There is no reason to hurry. The desert teaches patience better than any teacher could. A traveler who rushes quickly grows tired. One who walks steadily can continue for many days. The rhythm of the camels becomes the rhythm of the journey itself. Imagine looking around as the sun climbs higher. Golden dunes stretch across the horizon like quiet ocean waves frozen in time. The sand changes color with the light. Soft gold, warm orange, pale cream. Every hour the landscape seems slightly different, yet strangely familiar. The desert is always changing, yet always the same. Some travelers find this peaceful. Others find it humbling. Everyone learns to respect it. During the cooler hours of morning, the caravan makes good progress. The guide occasionally raises his hand. The travelers stop. He kneels beside the ground. There are footprints, not fresh ones. Perhaps another caravan passed this way several days earlier. The guide studies them carefully. He smiles. We are following the right road. To someone unfamiliar with the desert, there appears to be no road at all. Only endless sand. But experienced travelers see invisible pathways shaped by memory, observation, and generations of shared knowledge. The Sahara is crossed not by chance. It is crossed through wisdom. As the day grows warmer, the caravan slows. The heat becomes intense. The travelers cover their heads with light cloth to protect themselves from the sun. The camels continue steadily. Their broad feet press gently into the soft sand. These remarkable animals have served desert travelers for thousands of years. Without them, many of the great trade routes would never have existed. Sometimes they are called the ships of the desert. The name feels appropriate. Just as ships carry people across the sea, camels carry them across an ocean of sand. Imagine walking beside one of these patient animals. Its eyes remain calm. Its breathing steady. It asks for very little. Water when it can be found. Rest when evening arrives. Gentle treatment from its handlers. In return, it carries heavy loads across lands where few other animals could survive. A young traveler reaches out to stroke the camel's neck. An older guide smiles. Treat the camel kindly, he says. It remembers. Simple wisdom. Kindness often returns to those who offer it. By midday, the caravan reaches a small oasis. The sight feels almost magical. Tall date palms sway gently in the breeze. Clear water reflects the bright blue sky. Small birds sing among the branches. The travelers smile with quiet relief. No one rushes toward the water. The animals are cared for first. Their packs are loosened. They are allowed to drink slowly. Only afterward do the travelers fill their own cups. Again, cooperation guides every action. Everyone understands that the journey belongs to the whole caravan, not to one individual alone. Imagine sitting beneath the shade of a palm tree. The coolness feels wonderful after the long walk beneath the desert sun. Fresh dates are shared among the travelers. Someone breaks flatbread into smaller pieces so everyone may eat. A merchant begins telling stories from previous journeys. He speaks of sandstorms that turn day into night, of nights so clear that every constellation seemed close enough to touch, of friendships formed beside distant wells. The younger travelers listen carefully. Every story carries practical advice hidden inside. Knowledge keeps people safe. As afternoon slowly cools into evening, the caravan begins walking once more. Long shadows stretch across the dunes. The air becomes comfortable again. A gentle breeze smooths the surface of the sand, erasing the footprints left earlier in the day. The desert quietly hides yesterday's journey. Only memory remembers the road. This teaches another lesson. Some paths exist not on the ground, but within people. The knowledge of the route is carried from one guide to another, from parent to child, from teacher to apprentice. The road survives because memory survives. As darkness approaches, the caravan makes camp. The camels kneel once more. Bundles are carefully unloaded. A small fire is built using dry wood carried for the journey. Simple food is prepared. Warm tea is poured. The travelers sit together beneath an enormous sky filled with stars. Without towns or villages nearby, the heavens appear brighter than almost anywhere else. The Milky Way stretches overhead like a river of silver light. One young traveler asks the guide how he always knows the way. The old guide points upward. The stars help. Then he places his hand over his heart. But memory helps even more. He explains that every successful journey depends upon those who came before. Older guides shared their knowledge. Now it is his turn to share it with others. No wisdom should remain locked away. Knowledge grows stronger when it is shared. Far to the south, in the kingdom of Mali, families sleep peacefully beneath the same stars. Many of them may never cross the Sahara themselves. Yet their lives are closely connected to these quiet desert journeys. The salt carried by the caravans will season meals. The cloth will become clothing. The books will bring new learning. The gold traveling north will return as goods from distant lands. The desert is not a barrier. It is a bridge. A slow bridge. A patient bridge. One cross step by careful step. As the fire burns lower and the travelers wrap themselves in blankets against the cool desert night, silence settles over the camp once again. The camels rest peacefully nearby. The stars continue their endless journey overhead. Tomorrow, before sunrise, the caravan will rise and continue walking, just as countless caravans have done for generations. And with every peaceful crossing, another invisible thread is woven between Mali and the wider world, helping this young kingdom grow into a place of remarkable learning, friendship, and prosperity. As the desert breeze whispers softly across the dunes, let your thoughts wander gently beneath the stars. Our next journey will carry us back to the green banks of the Niger River, where growing towns are becoming centers of learning, craftsmanship, and quiet daily life as the kingdom of Mali continues its steady rise. The stars slowly disappear into the gentle blue of dawn. A cool mist rises from the wide waters of the Niger River. The surface is so smooth that it reflects the sky almost perfectly. For a few peaceful moments, the only sounds are the quiet splashes of fish and the distant calls of waking birds. The river has been flowing through these lands for countless generations, long before kingdoms were founded, long before famous rulers were remembered, long before merchants crossed the Sahara with their camel caravans. The river was already here, patiently making its slow journey across the heart of West Africa. Imagine standing on its grassy bank. The morning air feels fresh against your face. Tall reeds sway gently in the breeze. Tiny insects dance above the water, their wings catching the first light of the day. Nearby, a fisherman unties his canoe from a wooden post. The canoe is long and narrow, carved from a single great tree many years ago. Its surface has grown smooth from years of careful use. The fisherman steps inside with practiced balance. He picks up his paddle. Without hurry, he pushes away from the shore. The canoe glides silently across the water. Watching him, it is easy to understand why the Niger River became one of the greatest treasures of the Kingdom of Mali. The river is more than water. It is a road, a marketplace, a source of food, a teacher, a friend. Villages scattered many miles apart remain connected because of its gentle current. Families visit one another by canoe. Merchants carry goods from one town to the next. Messages travel quickly along the riverbanks. Even during seasons when dusty roads become difficult, the Niger continues its steady journey. Imagine following the fisherman as he checks his woven nets. He pulls them carefully from the water. Silver fish sparkle in the morning light. Some are small. Others are large enough to feed an entire family. He smiles with quiet satisfaction. Today's catch is good. Not extraordinary. Simply good. Sometimes that is enough. Back on shore, children eagerly help sort the fish into woven baskets. They laugh together as they work. An older woman thanks the fisherman before carrying a basket toward the market. Nothing is wasted. Some fish will be cooked today. Others will be dried in the sun so they can be stored for many weeks. The people of Mali understand the value of preparing for tomorrow while enjoying today. As the morning continues, the villages beside the river become busier. Imagine walking through one of them. The homes are built from earth mixed with straw, keeping the inside pleasantly cool even during the hottest part of the day. Their roofs are covered with carefully arranged grasses. Outside each home, someone is already busy. One family grinds millet into flour. Another shapes wet clay into smooth cooking pots. Children gather firewood while chatting happily with one another. Goats wander lazily between the houses. A rooster proudly announces the arrival of the new day once again, as though no one had noticed. The village feels alive, yet peaceful. Everyone has work to do. No one seems rushed. Near the center of the village stands a broad open space shaded by several large trees. Here the market slowly begins to grow. Women spread woven mats across the ground before arranging their goods. Fresh vegetables, bundles of herbs, clay jars, brightly dyed cloth, honey collected from wild bees, wooden spoons carved with remarkable care. A blacksmith arrives carrying newly finished farming tools. Each one shines softly after careful polishing. Farmers inspect the tools closely. They know that strong tools mean healthier harvests. Healthy harvests mean full storehouses. Full storehouses mean peaceful winters. Every craft supports another. Everything is connected. Sundiata enjoys visiting villages like this. When people see him approaching, they greet him warmly. Not because they fear him, because they know him. He asks about their families. He asks whether the harvest has been good, whether the river has risen enough, whether the roads remain safe. He listens carefully to every answer. One elderly fisherman smiles as Sundiata sits beside him. The old man points toward the flowing river. You see the water moving. Sundiata nods. It never keeps everything for itself. The fisherman cups a little water in his hand before letting it fall back into the river. It gives life everywhere it goes. He smiles. A ruler should do the same. Sundiata thanks him quietly. The lesson is simple. But like many simple lessons, it stays with him for many years. Farther downstream, boats larger than simple fishing canoes travel steadily along the current. Some carry sacks of grain harvested from nearby fields. Others transport clay jars filled with cooking oil, bundles of cotton, wood for building homes, leather goods, pottery. Every boat helps connect one community with another. Boatmen become experts at reading the river. They notice hidden sandbanks, strong currents, places where hippos sometimes rest. They understand the moods of the water, just as desert guides understand the shifting dunes. knowledge of nature remains one of the kingdom's greatest strengths. Imagine joining one of these river journeys. The boat moves quietly between green riverbanks. Tall trees lean gently over the water. Monkeys chatter high in the branches. Colorful kingfishers dive suddenly into the river before returning to their favorite perches. Occasionally, a large crocodile slips silently into the water after warming itself upon the shore. The boatmen keep a respectful distance. The river belongs to many creatures. Humans are simply one part of its life. By midday, the boat reaches another busy town. The landing place is filled with activity. Workers carefully unload heavy baskets. Children run to greet relatives arriving from distant villages. Merchants compare the quality of different goods before agreeing on fair prices. A woman who traveled many miles upriver embraces her sister with joyful laughter. The river has made the visit possible. Without it, the journey would have taken much longer. The Niger quietly strengthens families as well as trade. As the afternoon sun grows warm, life slows a little. Many people rest beneath the shade of large trees. Craftsmen continue their work inside cool workshops. A weaver patiently guides thread through a wooden loom. Slowly, colorful cloth begins to appear. Blue, white, golden brown. Each pattern tells a story known to the people who wear it. Nearby, a potter shapes another smooth water jar. His hands move almost without thought. Years of practice have turned careful movements into gentle habit. Watching him work is almost as calming as watching the river itself. Toward evening, the day's heat begins to soften. Families return from the fields. The smell of evening meals drifts across the village. Fresh fish simmers with vegetables. Millet porridge bubbles quietly over cooking fires. Ground nuts are crushed into rich sauces. Children carry bowls to elderly neighbors before sitting down with their own families. Sharing remains one of the quiet customs that strengthens every community. As darkness settles gently across the river, small fires begin glowing along both banks. Their reflections shimmer upon the water like scattered stars. The real stars slowly appear overhead, one after another. The river carries both reflections together. The lights of earth, the lights of heaven. The griot begins another evening story. Tonight he speaks of rivers. He tells the children that every great river begins as countless tiny streams flowing together. No single stream creates such greatness alone. The children nod thoughtfully. The adults smile. They understand that he is speaking about the kingdom as well. Every village, every family, every craftsman, every farmer, every fisherman, every merchant, each one adds something valuable. Together they create a kingdom stronger than any one person ever could. Sundiata sits quietly among them. He looks across the peaceful waters of the Niger. The river reflects the moon as it continues its endless journey through the night. He realizes that the kingdom is growing much like this river. Not with noise, not with haste, but with steady purpose, with quiet cooperation, with patience, and with countless ordinary people working together beneath the vast African sky. As the evening breeze gently ripples the water, let your thoughts drift with the slow current of the Niger. In the next part of our journey, we will step inside the growing towns of Mali and explore the lives of the skilled craftsmen, talented weavers, blacksmiths, potters, and builders whose careful hands help transform a young kingdom into one of the finest civilizations in West Africa. The first light of morning quietly settles over the growing towns of Mali. The air is cool. A gentle breeze carries the smell of damp earth from the river, and the faint scent of wood smoke from cooking fires that have only just been lit. The sky is painted with soft shades of pale blue and gold. It is another peaceful day. Imagine yourself entering one of Mali's busy towns just after sunrise. The streets are still calm. Only a few people are awake. A woman sweeps the ground outside her family home with a bundle of dry grass. A baker places fresh flatbread onto a warm clay oven. Two young boys carry buckets of water from the nearby well, laughing quietly as they try not to spill a single drop. The town slowly opens its eyes. As more people wake, another sound begins to fill the morning air. Tap, 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 the steady ringing of a hammer against iron. It comes from the workshop of the village blacksmith. Imagine walking toward the sound. The workshop stands beneath a simple roof made from wooden poles and thick grass. Inside, a charcoal fire glows with deep orange light. The blacksmith gently pumps large leather bellows. Each push sends fresh air into the fire. The flames grow brighter, hotter. Soon a long piece of iron begins glowing red. With calm, practiced movements, he lifts it using strong iron tongs. He places it upon a smooth stone anvil. Then the hammer rises and falls. Tap, tap, tap. Each strike is careful, never rushed. Years of practice have taught him exactly where to hit the metal. Watching him feels almost like listening to slow music. Nearby stands a young apprentice. He watches every movement closely. Sometimes the blacksmith explains a technique. Other times he simply smiles and lets the boy observe. Knowledge is passed patiently, just as it has been for countless generations. The blacksmith is one of the most respected people in the community. His work touches nearly every part of daily life. He shapes farming tools that help grow food. He repairs broken knives used in kitchens. He creates fishing hooks for river boats. He forges strong nails for new buildings. Even merchants traveling great distances often stop to have worn tools repaired before continuing their journeys. Without skilled craftsmen like him, everyday life would become much more difficult. As the morning continues, let us stroll farther into the town. Not far from the blacksmith's workshop, another craftsman is already busy. A potter sits beside a large pile of cool, smooth clay. His hands are covered with fine brown earth. In front of him rests a simple pottery wheel. Slowly, almost effortlessly, he shapes the spinning clay. A wide bowl appears, then a water jar, then a cooking pot. Each piece begins as nothing more than soft earth. Patient hands slowly give it form. Children often stop to watch. The potter smiles and allows them to touch a finished bowl. They are always surprised by how smooth it feels. He reminds them gently. Clay teaches patience. If you hurry, it collapses. If you work slowly, it becomes useful. Another quiet lesson hidden inside ordinary work. A short walk away, the weavers have begun their day. Long wooden looms stand beneath shaded shelters, where the cool morning breeze passes easily through. Colorful threads stretch tightly across the frames. Blue, white, deep brown, golden yellow. The weavers move with remarkable rhythm. One hand guides the thread. The other gently presses the growing cloth into place. Back and forth, again and again. The movement is peaceful, almost hypnotic. Some cloth is meant for everyday clothing. Other pieces are woven with more detailed patterns for weddings, celebrations, or important ceremonies. Each design carries meaning understood by the people who wear it. A pattern may represent family. Another may symbolize unity. Another may celebrate a successful harvest. Clothing tells stories without using words. Imagine one elderly weaver sitting beside her granddaughter. The young girl has only recently begun learning. At first, her hands become tangled in the threads. She sighs with frustration. Her grandmother simply smiles. She gently untangles the thread. There is always another chance. The girl tries again. This time, the pattern begins to appear. Small successes build confidence, just as small lessons build wisdom. Elsewhere in the town, builders are raising a new home. The walls are made from earth mixed with straw. Large wooden beams support the roof. Many neighbors have come to help. Some carry baskets of wet clay. Others smooth the walls with flat wooden tools. Children fetch water whenever it is needed. The family does not build alone. The whole community takes part. When this home is finished, everyone will know they helped create it. Later, when another family builds their house, the kindness will be returned. This spirit of cooperation quietly strengthens every village in Mali. No written contract is needed. Only trust. As the sun climbs higher, the town becomes busier. Merchants begin opening their stalls. A leatherworker hangs beautifully stitched bags outside his shop. A woodcarver places polished bowls and carved stools where visitors can admire them. A woman who makes soap arranges small blocks scented with herbs collected from nearby forests. Every craft has its place. Every skill serves someone else. Sundiata enjoys visiting these workshops whenever he can. He rarely arrives with a large group. Instead, he walks quietly among the people. He asks questions. He watches. He listens. One morning, he visits an elderly carpenter. The old man is carving a strong wooden door. Every line is perfectly straight. Every joint fits together tightly. Sundiata asks, "How do you make your work last so many years?" The carpenter pauses before answering. "I never rush the parts no one will see." He points toward the inside of the door. Hidden work matters just as much. Sundiata smiles thoughtfully. The lesson reaches beyond carpentry. A kingdom is built not only by the things people admire. It is also built by quiet honesty, daily responsibility, promises kept when no one is watching. These unseen actions hold everything together. By afternoon, many workshops grow quieter as the heat increases. People rest beneath broad shade trees. Children gather around grandparents who begin telling old stories. Someone plays the kora. Its soft notes drift through the warm air. Nearby, a young boy carefully copies patterns into damp clay under the guidance of an older craftsman. Learning never truly stops. It simply moves at its own gentle pace. As evening approaches, families return home carrying the results of the day's work. Fresh pottery, new farming tools, beautiful cloth, carved wooden bowls. Nothing appears wasteful. Everything has purpose. Everything reflects patient hands. Cooking fires begin glowing across the town. The smell of warm bread and roasted vegetables fills the evening air. Neighbors exchange greetings before sharing supper together. Children proudly show parents the small tasks they learned during the day. One family celebrates because their daughter has woven her first complete piece of cloth. Another praises a young apprentice who has shaped his first useful clay bowl. These quiet achievements bring genuine happiness. After the evening meal, people gather beneath the familiar baobab tree. The griot smiles as everyone settles into comfortable places. Tonight, he does not tell the story of a great king. Instead, he tells the story of an ordinary potter, a humble blacksmith, a patient weaver, a careful builder. He reminds the children that kingdoms are remembered because of famous leaders, but they survive because of ordinary people. Without skilled hands, without honest work, without neighbors helping one another, no kingdom can truly flourish. The listeners nod. The lesson feels true. Sundiata looks around the gathering. He sees tired hands, strong hands, gentle hands, hands stained with clay, hands darkened by charcoal, hands rough from farming, hands that have built homes, boats, markets, roads, friendships. He understands that these are the true treasures of Mali, not only the gold beneath the rivers, but the people whose work quietly shapes the kingdom every single day. Above them, the stars slowly brighten the night sky. The sounds of the town fade one by one. Only the gentle singing of crickets remains. And as another peaceful day comes to its close, the kingdom of Mali grows a little stronger, not through conquest or grand displays, but through the patient work of countless ordinary people whose skilled hands quietly build a civilization that future generations will remember with admiration. The night slowly fades. The stars disappear one by one as the eastern sky begins to glow with the first gentle colors of dawn. A cool breeze moves softly through the branches of the great baobab trees. Their wide trunks stand quietly against the brightening sky, just as they have for hundreds of years. Birds awaken before the people do. Their songs drift through the peaceful air. Far away, a rooster calls from a nearby village. Another answers. Soon the sounds of morning spread across the land. Imagine yourself walking through the village before the day's work begins. The paths are still empty. The earth feels cool beneath your feet. A woman quietly sweeps the ground outside her home. An elderly man walks slowly toward the river, carrying a wooden staff polished smooth from many years of use. Smoke rises gently from the first cooking fires. The smell of warm millet porridge begins to fill the morning air. The kingdom of Mali wakes with calm purpose. There is no rush. The rhythm of life follows the steady pattern that has guided generations. Today, however, is a special day. People from nearby villages are gathering beneath the great baobab tree. This is not a market day. It is not a festival. It is a day for listening, for learning, for sharing wisdom. Imagine the enormous baobab standing in the center of the village. Its trunk is so wide that several grown people joining hands could barely reach around it. Its branches stretch outward like giant arms offering shade to everyone beneath them. For generations, this tree has watched children become adults. It has watched elders grow old. It has heard countless stories carried by the wind. Many important decisions have been made beneath its shelter. Today will be another. One by one, people arrive. Farmers carrying simple walking sticks. Fishermen with woven baskets resting on their shoulders. Weavers wearing brightly patterned cloth. Blacksmiths whose strong hands still carry traces of charcoal. Merchants who have recently returned from long journeys. Hunters who know every path through the forests. Children sit quietly beside their grandparents. Everyone has come to listen. No seats are reserved for the richest person. No special place belongs to the strongest. Beneath the baobab, every respectful voice has value. Sundiata arrives without ceremony. He greets the elders one by one. He shakes hands with old friends. He asks after families. He remembers the names of children he met years before. People smile warmly. A leader who remembers ordinary people is rarely forgotten by them. When everyone has gathered, one of the oldest elders slowly stands. His hair has become completely white. His face carries the gentle lines of a long life well lived. He leans lightly upon his walking staff. When he begins speaking, no one interrupts. His voice is soft. Yet every person listens carefully. My father once sat beneath this same tree. He smiles, and his father before him. He looks upward into the great branches. The tree has lived longer than any of us. It teaches without speaking. The children glance curiously toward the enormous trunk. The elder continues. The baobab grows slowly. It does not hurry. It sends its roots deep into the earth before reaching high into the sky. He pauses. Wisdom grows the same way. The village becomes very quiet. The lesson settles gently into every listening heart. Imagine sitting among them. The breeze carries cool air beneath the broad branches. Sunlight filters through the leaves, creating dancing patches of light upon the ground. The moment feels peaceful, almost timeless. After the elder finishes speaking, another person rises. This time it is a woman known throughout the nearby villages for her knowledge of plants and healing. She carries a small woven basket filled with leaves, roots, and dried flowers. The children lean forward with interest. She carefully removes one green leaf. This leaf, she says gently, helps reduce fever. She lifts another. This one eases stomach pain. Then she smiles warmly. But medicine alone does not heal every sickness. The children look puzzled. She continues. A kind word heals many hearts. A shared meal heals loneliness. Forgiveness heals old anger. The adults nod quietly. Everyone understands. Health belongs not only to the body. It belongs to the spirit of the community as well. Sundiata listens with deep respect. He has traveled across forests, rivers, and deserts. He has met merchants and kings. Yet he knows that wisdom can also be found in the quiet words of a village healer. Knowledge wears many different faces. Later that morning, the village griot rises slowly to his feet. His kora rests beside him. Instead of beginning with music, he begins with silence. He looks around the gathering. Then he smiles. Who remembers the story of the little stream? Several children immediately raise their hands. The griot laughs softly. Then perhaps you should tell it. One young girl stands nervously. She takes a deep breath. The little stream thought it was too small to matter. She speaks slowly, choosing her words carefully. But when it joined other streams, they became a great river. The griot nods proudly. And what does the river become? The children answer together. Life. The elder smiles. Exactly. The lesson is simple. No one becomes great alone. Every family, every village, every friend, every helper, each one adds something valuable. Together they create strength. Imagine the conversation continuing throughout the morning. People ask thoughtful questions. How should disagreements be settled? How can young people become wise? What makes a leader worthy of trust? Many different answers are offered. No one claims to know everything. Listening matters as much as speaking. One elderly fisherman quietly says, "A person who listens carefully catches more than fish." Everyone laughs gently. The meaning is clear. Those who pay attention notice things others miss. Another elder shares a memory from his youth. When I was young, I believed strength came from my arms. He flexes them playfully, making several children giggle. Now I know strength also lives here. He places one hand over his heart. And here, he gently touches his forehead. The strongest person is not always the loudest. The village grows thoughtful once again. These lessons cannot be measured, yet they shape lives. As the sun reaches its highest point, people begin sharing the midday meal together. Large bowls of millet are placed upon woven mats. Fresh vegetables, roasted fish, groundnut sauce, dates brought by merchants returning from northern caravans. No one eats alone. Food moves from hand to hand. Conversation continues naturally. Friendships deepen. Children play nearby beneath the shade, while grandparents watch with quiet smiles. Sundiata joins the meal like everyone else. He does not ask for special dishes. He thanks those who prepared the food. He listens more than he speaks. The people notice. Leadership is often revealed through small actions rather than grand speeches. By early afternoon, the gathering slowly comes to an end. People return to their farms, their workshops, their fishing boats, their homes. The baobab once again becomes quiet. Only the birds remain among its branches. Before leaving, Sundiata pauses beside the great tree. He places one hand upon its rough bark. He thinks about everything he has heard. The healer's kindness, the griot stories, the elder's patience, the children's curiosity. The wisdom shared today cannot be carried inside a basket. It cannot be stored inside a palace. It must live inside people. Only then can it guide a kingdom. The breeze moves gently through the leaves overhead. The ancient tree says nothing, yet somehow it continues teaching, just as it always has. As the afternoon sunlight stretches long across the peaceful village, our own quiet journey continues. In the next part of our story, we will visit the schools of memory, where griots teach history through songs, stories, and spoken words, preserving the knowledge of generations long before books became common throughout the kingdom of Mali.